Drew Estate Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Spare Notes series with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and William Cooper.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series. My name is Matt Tobacco from SpokenTobacco.com. I am fucking fired up. I'm just going to come right out of the gate and say it. I am really fucking fired up tonight because we're going to talk Flor Dominicana. There is a lot to talk about on that. So shout out to all of my LFD peeps. I love you all very much. And I am joined once again by one of my good friends in this industry who I love very, very much, Mr. William Cooper of cigar-coop.com, still wearing his United Cigars hat from KMA this morning. He's a trooper. I bet you he's been sitting at this desk all day, just ready to go for Spare Notes. I know you've had a long day. Coop, how are you doing?
Hey, Matt. You know, it's actually kind of accurate. I'm trying to get of the PCA coverage done, the rollout. So I had 5 more companies. I worked on everything this afternoon. So basically, I did KMA, worked on that, did Jukebox, ate dinner, and then came back here. So it's pretty much I've been in the Perdomo Cigar Studios Red Stage all day.
Yeah. I expected no less from you. You're a trooper, dude. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people out there who probably watch the show and Cigar Coop and Primetime, but a lot of you guys don't know how much work Coop puts in behind the scenes. I do because I've seen it. This guy doesn't sleep, just so you know. I mean, he's a trooper. I mean, he's got his regular job too that he's very invested in. He's got all of his Cigar Coop stuff. I mean, this guy just don't quit. Coop, that's why I love you, buddy.
No, thank you. You know, I gotta give a shout out to the other guys on my team, and the guy who really had to put a lot of work in after. I mean, everyone put a lot of work in during the show. Ben Lee's the guy who has to do a lot of the after work editing of the videos, and he, half a terabyte of data to go through is half a terabyte, no matter how you look at it. So now I'm the guy who kind of puts the video, the audio, the pictures, and the words together, and that's why ours is rolled out slowly, because there's a lot of content that we put in there, but you don't want this to go. 1 year it went past Labor Day, and I can't have that happen. So it has to get done in the next 3. It will get done in the next. We have 5 more. We'll roll those out in the next 3 days, and there'll be some fill-ins and some reports on the companies that didn't go to the trade show, and then that will wrap it up. But I'll be back into my normal cycle after these 5 are done.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more behind you, but I should be caught up by the end of next week too. So I'm kind of in the same boat too. So we're getting there. But I want to dive right into this. So in front of me, I have 5 cigars. These are the 5 cigars from the Tour de Mundo pack from La Flor Dominicana. And that's them right there from the gourmet smoke sessions. There they are. So I'm trying to decide what I should smoke first. Now, there's the Suave, there's the 94, there's an LG 2015. I have a Chapter 1, and I have a chisel, an Airbender chisel. I'm really feeling the LG.
Great minds think alike. That would be the one I would have gone to first.
So
yep,
absolutely. I think that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with.
You can't go wrong with any of those cigars, though, either. I mean, they're really five solid picks by La Flor.
They're hot. They're hot cigars, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
I'm lighting up a Dapper Desvalido Diesel, which was launched at the trade show. This is a big double Coronas. This is a big sucker. I figured we're going to need this one tonight.
Oh yeah.
But Dapper is a company that. They've been more of a West Coast company, I'd say, but they're starting to push their way east more. Have you had him on the show?
No, I've been meaning to get in touch with Ian, and I have not yet. So I am
one of our favorite guests. And what I'll say about him is we've had him on 3 times, and I tell you what, he's so flexible. And one time I needed a fill-in guest, right? And he was on vacation, so he never got back to me. I figured something was going on if he never gets back to me. And he got back that day, and he said, I could do the show tonight. And I'm like, well, don't worry, man. We did fill someone in. But I said, I got a slot open in 3 weeks. Can you do it? And he's like, yeah. So that's the kind of guy he is, a super nice guy. And he really – our team has been very impressed with the cigars that he's done. So, I mean, there's a good product behind it. He's working on – this is the same factory that makes Saka's Mi Querida line. So the Noxa factory he works with, yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, I'm getting an echo, and I'm not sure where that's coming from.
I'm not hearing an echo.
I am. That is weird. It can't be me. I only have one. I only have one mic set up, and I don't think I'm drawing off the computer. It's weird. It's not
Do you
that
hear
bad.
that?
It's not that
Do you hear
bad.
it tapping? Do you hear it tapping?
I do.
It's probably me.
I
Let
think
me
it's
see
you.
let me see what I could do here.
Matt Ty says I hear it too. Anyway, while Coop tries to figure that out, I'm gonna let him do that. I'm gonna start us off with our first topic. Well, first of all, I have to mention, obviously, cutting and lighting tonight with Cigar Blondie accessories. Shout out to Cigar Blondie for always providing us with the best cutters and lighters and accessories on the Spare Notes and the Smoke and Tobacco Show. I'm gonna light my LG up with that signature Blade Flame. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's pretty cool. So cigarblondieaccessories.com. Go and check them out. So, Coop, since the last time we met, I went down to Florida. I had another tour of the SoFlo back up into Central Florida. I went down for the kickoff of the Flor Dominicana Golden NFT launch event with Carney, Tony Gomez, and Lito Gomez Jr. That's right. There's another Lito Gomez now. He's pretty cool, so check him out. He has a cigar coming out this year. I think he's watching tonight too. So there's your plug. There's your shout out. Soulless is coming out soon. So it was an awesome event. That was the first day that the first NFT went live. So it was the kickoff party. Since then, they are now in the middle of the fifth NFT. So the first 4 have been sold. I want to say that going into this, I think a lot of people were very skeptical. They didn't really understand. I think there's a lot of people who still don't really understand NFTs, and then I think the people who kind of do, I don't think they fully understood what La Flor Dominicana was doing with theirs. I don't know if they realized that the allotment of the cigars to be purchased after was part of that. I don't know if they just thought it was the actual NFT that most people just, oh, it's just some digital thing, like it doesn't mean anything. But then the first one sold for $85,000, and I think it got people's attention and enough where I think the people who either didn't understand or on the fence was like, all right, I gotta read into this. I don't understand. John and I was with John for a few days after that. People kept calling and asking us like, all right, so can you explain this to me? So I think it was like, finally people were starting to understand like, okay, so this thing went for big money. Like, what exactly? And now that people know exactly what's involved, I think people are like, oh shit, this is legit. So. First one sold for $85,000. The second one sold for $78,000, and then the third and fourth both sold for $90,000. As of this afternoon, I haven't checked right this minute, but as this afternoon, the fifth one was already up to $77,777 by Matul Shah, and that one will end tomorrow at noon. So yeah, pretty big stuff. It's very exciting. Coop, I know you've been watching this. I know that I saw you start to cover this a little bit more. Everyone who's been following me knows I've been covering this and how I feel about it. I want to hear what you have to say about this first because I'm just excited about it, and I got to hear what Cigar Coop has to say.
I guess so.
And don't be shy. If you got some hate, throw it.
No. Don't. This is where I don't like when if you express an opinion, it's hate. Which it's not, right? Because I think this is a great thing for La Flor Dominicana, and I love what's happened and the excitement this has created. I am not into the whole NFT thing. And you could chalk it up to I don't understand it is fine. However, you can't argue this has absolutely been a successful La Flor Dominicana.
100%.
Okay? And I have some questions I'm going to ask you because you may know the answers to this, right? But and we'll get into a little more, but I think this is more of an exercise, in my opinion, about the NFT as opposed to the cigars. I think this is more about getting that NFT and the value of that NFT. I don't think this is about like paying $85,000 to $90,000 to get an Andalusian Bull Golden Bull. I don't think that this is what's happening here.
Really?
I think this is about the value of the NFT. Wouldn't you say so?
I mean, true. I think that's part of it. A lot of people have been getting into NFTs recently. A lot of people remember that United Cigar last year. Was it last year? They did their Atabey Black NFT, which was just the digital artwork.
Yep.
For the most part. I think a lot of people saw that and was like, okay. And I think the Gomez's and Tony really. I mean, a lot of this was really on Tony Gomez.
Yeah.
It was like well, what can we do with this NFT thing, but actually bring more value to it and give people something more than just this digital file, right? They had the Toritos Andalusian Bull, which is now the Golden NFT, so Andalusian Bull. That Tony had made, and anyone who talked to Tony or saw Tony maybe on some shows or whatever, they noticed that he was smoking the small size of the Andalusian Bull, and people would ask like, oh, how do we get that little size? And it was kind of Tony's thing. It was something he was working on, so it wasn't really available because it was something they were still kind of experimenting with. And then he, in a nutshell, and this is a bigger story, but in a nutshell, it was, hey, like, Tony saw this NFT thing. He started to research it, and he's like, well, I want to do something special with that cigar, and I just don't really know what I want to do. And the NFT thing came up. It was kind of like, okay, here's an opportunity to do something really special. I can do it with this cigar, and it gives you something more tangible, and it creates more of a value and more of a long-term thing than just like the NFT. And you get the
I agree.
artwork. So, yeah, I mean, is it about really inflating the value of the digital artwork part of it? I would say I wouldn't say no, definitely not, but I don't think that it's the primary focus by having those other things in the NFT package. Just kind of based on the way I've been watching the retailers who are going after this and hearing what some of them are saying, I think people are just very interested in this.
Some insider baseball.
Yeah.
They're looking for people who are acquiring these. I can tell you, are looking for investors.
100%. I know that.
Yeah. So I mean, that was the first, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, this is part of the game. Here's my primary question for you.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but the owner of NFT number 1 and 2, Alexander Martinez, is here. He just chimed into the show. Alex, congratulations!
Yeah.
Congratulations, and welcome to the show. Anyway,
here's
sorry,
my
Coop, go ahead.
Here's my question to you. Okay. So they put something out there in the blockchain, LaFleur, right?
Yes.
Do they just put it out there? Is there something that they pay into this that sets something? That's the part I'm a little confused about.
That part of it, I don't really know, to be honest with you. Tony probably knows that, and I haven't really talked to Tony about that. We've been more or less kind of talking about more on the surface stuff lately. I can certainly find out from you.
Okay.
Ask that question again. Sorry, just say that again.
So to put this thing out there in the blockchain, like Flor Dominicana is the initiator, right? Do they pay something to do that? Is there money behind it? I mean, they're just not throwing a digital art picture and saying I'm charging like $36,000, for it. That doesn't seem. There's got to be more behind.
So you want to know if they have to pay to have the NFT exist, like in the blockchain? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and is there money behind it? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Like, you mean other than the money that people pay to acquire it?
Right. Is there money that, like, do they have a cost? And, like, so let's say it's $90,000. Does LaFleur pay X number of dollars to, like, initiate this thing? I'm assuming there's some costs with the system they're using, but is there more? Is there something behind it? Is the question.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I can certainly find out.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm coming at this from a novice. I am not an expert on NFTs. I am not by any means. And I'm not gonna be ever an expert on NFTs. But what I will say is, what I kind of looked at this. If we want to look at this from the cigar end of things, it kind of reminded me of a personal seat license for having football tickets, right?
Right.
So you buy the personal seat license, which is the NFT, and then that gives you access to your cigars. To buy those, you buy tickets for the game, you buy cigars in this case. So I kind of looked at it like that, and then they throw in the humidor, which I think the humidors are going to be very interesting to see if they're resold.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think, especially humidor number 1, I'm thinking it's going to have some value on that, right?
Well, number 1, I think going into everyone was like, well, number 1 is like, that's going to be the first of anything, right? It's like
right.
It's like when the new like special cars come out, right? You want to have serial number 1, It's
sure.
Like that's
yeah.
serial number 1, like, and then after that, the rest are, they're still valuable, but number 1, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like part of me just thinks like, hey, if you resell that, like, and I don't know what Alexander's going to do, and that's certainly his business on that, not mine. But maybe if anyone buys, one of these NFTs, if they sell that human, I can imagine has some significant value to it. There's just because there's only 7 of them in the world that are going to be made. I imagine you can recoup some of the money that you put back in right away. I don't think you're going to recruit $85,000 by any means, but you may be able to recoup some of it. And the second question is, will the demand? Then you can get into a price. What?
Like keep up?
Yeah.
I know it is a serious question. I mean, obviously out of the gate, everyone's going to want it, but then more or less, 3 years down the line, are people still going to be wanting them at high inflated prices?
Right. True. That's exactly where I'm going with that. But it's like when the Padron 50th anniversaries came out, they started going for $100 originally a cigar, right? Guess what? I was $1, right? But they're not $100 now. And most of that was because they were incorporating the price of the humidor into that cigar. So I imagine, if these are resold, I don't know if they're going to be resold or not. It's possible someone may just want them to keep these cigars. That's the owner's choice who's spending a lot more money than I'm spending. You know what I mean? So that's certainly their choice what they want to do on that. But look at but so I think there's a whole. What I like about this is it's put cigars into the whole high-end collectible auction world, which is really, really cool to see that, right? This is really good for our industry, and it's good for LaFleur's doing this, good for the people bidding and winning on this. Cigars are a luxury product, and I think this is how cigars should be presented. And so I look at this I may have my questions on NFTs, but that's okay. I look at the program. I'm like, this program is an enormous success, is what I'll say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know that there's still a lot of questions surrounding this, and I think in time a lot of those will get answered. But yeah, no, it has been successful. Look, at the surface, LFD has already sold 4 of them. The last 2 sold for $90,000. The 5th one's already at $77,000. And I'm sure as we continue to get towards the end, they're going to just keep going up in value. So at the end of the day, and I don't think Flor Dominicana did this as like a quick cash grab, so to speak. I mean, people can say that, but I don't think that's what it did. There's a lot that went into this project, and for them, it continues after these auctions are over by continuing to the support of these cigars. So, but right off the bat, they make out pretty good. So this has been business-wise, this has been successful for them. They're already $350,000 in the bank, and they still got 5, 6, 7. They got 4 more to go. So I mean. And who knows? I truly believe at least one of them, if not 2, are gonna crack $100,000 before this is over.
I'm surprised retailers aren't basically forming a coalition and getting in on this and kind of splitting it. I mean, that's what I'm surprised at. You get 3 or 4 retailers in there, suddenly you can outbid a single person. I mean, that's what I would see on this. And then you figure out who gets the cigars later on. And then you have this NFT thing that your partner's in. To me, that would seem like the best thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard, I'm not going to reveal any names or say who or anything like that, but I know of a handful of retailers who are partnering up on the
okay,
bidding.
So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's what I would say.
There are some who've partnered up. I know of some people who are trying to pool money together to win these and split them. Now, I don't know if that's the case with Alex Martinez. I don't know, and he's welcome to share. If not, it's none of our business. But it's
none of our business, right? Yeah.
But I think, and again, he doesn't have to share this, but I think he's in this by himself. So good for him. He's got 2 allotments now. He's getting 140 of these a month now, just already, and he's continued to bid. He bid on number 3 and number 4, so I'm pretty sure he still wants another one. So I mean, if he gets one more, I mean, that's a lot of cigars every month. And you control the market that way, especially you own half of them. So the other thing to remember, too, so Alex owns NFT 1 and 2. The 3rd one went to a private buyer. We don't know who it is, but I was told that it's a private buyer who is remaining anonymous. So that's that. So I don't think it's a retailer. So that means that person is just going to have those cigars for himself every month, and that's it. The fourth one, rather, sorry, went to Jack Schwartz Importers in Chicago. So
Big LFD shop. Yeah.
yeah, big LFD shop, and that's a shop that definitely should have
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah.
And so Alex says correct. So yeah, so he's in all of this by himself. So good for him, dude. That's awesome.
And here's what I'll say about Alex. His store, Main Street Cigars in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I'm gonna give him a plug here.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I haven't been up there since 2019, and that's because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But absolutely, the one store I will go to in New Jersey every time will be Alex's store. That store is a great store. It's right in downtown Woodbridge. And what's great is it's a hop, skip, and a jump from Staten Island where my mom lives. So, I haven't been. I wish I'd been up there since then, but COVID obviously has made a lot of things challenging for that.
No, I understand that, but yeah, I mean, I have to say it's pretty impressive. I expected to see a lot of like other big name retailers, like unless they bid, we just didn't know. But I was expecting to see some other major retailers like going for this at the end, and I don't think they were there just based on the names, and some of them are in the Discord chat. There's an LFD Discord chat. So I think almost everyone's in there. So people kind of know, if you're in the Discord, you kind of know like who's bidding. There's a few unknowns, like the winner of NFT number 3 was the NBERR. That is an unknown. We don't know who that person is.
Yep.
Other than that, we kind of know almost everyone who's bid, and I haven't seen like Corona, Smoke In, and maybe they don't want to go for it, but I'm surprised.
But it's such a but it's such a small amount of volume for those guys, though. That's what I kind of keep going back to too. Like Jeff, yes, he focuses on those high-end luxury items, but if he's only getting 70 cigars a month, is that worth for his business to make that type of investment? That's my question. Or is it more valuable for a smaller store to kind of say, you know what, I'm on the map now. Look what I have secured the rights to this thing. It's going to put my store on the map. I kind of can see why a smaller store would do it, unless like Jeff's got disposable money to do this. You know what I mean?
It's true. I mean, there's a lot
and
of
he just
factors.
wants bragging rights. Yeah. But I think it's a great opportunity for a small store to have this because, look, think about that. That's a great, and you're gonna have that for life. That's
true.
As long as you own that, yeah.
I mean, it's great for Alex. He's obviously on the smaller end of shops. He's got 2 of them, going for 3 probably. So yeah, that's huge for him. Jack Schwartz, big LFD retailer. Them having one makes sense. They had their own LFD Andalusian Bull last year for the 100th anniversary.
That was unbelievable. I say this: the Andalusian Bull, I think, smokes better in the non-Figurado shape.
Bruce, forever.
Yeah, they had the Toro one. It was really good. The 100th one. I had that.
Yeah. So I mean, technically, there's 3 sizes of the Andalusian Bull that exist, but the Jack Schwartz
fourth
one,
or fifth. Yeah.
The Jack Schwartz one was, from what I said, that was a one-time run, and that was a store exclusive. So technically, it does exist, but I don't think you're going to see it again. I think that was a one-time run. What I will tell you now, what's interesting is before this even started, when the story first broke, Tony had said, we're going to do this, we're going to have this size, and that's it. We're not making any more Andalusian Bulls.
I remember he said that to us at the show too.
Very specifically. Now, since then, like I said, there's a Discord chat that was started. And there's a lot of people in there. And the hubbub in that chat, I don't know if you've been in there yet. I know Bear and Ben have been in there. But there is a large request now for a large size Andalusian Bull. I don't think anyone saw that coming, but now that seems to be the thing. Everybody wants like a 7x70. I'm not sure. Some of it's kind of crazy, but people are like really getting behind this now, and they're like, we want a bigger size, and we want a bigger size. And Tony has chimed in saying like, look, guys, I already said like there's no more sizes of Andalusian Bull, and the reason was because they're trying to protect the integrity of the value of these NFTs. They
I agree. I think that's, yeah.
They're trying to make this, like we made this one other size, and then that way, these people have it. Now if we make another size, it's like, all right, well then there's that size, but maybe nobody cares about that because they can get the original or they can get this third size. But that may be for a while, and then but maybe down the road they change. I don't know. I mean, this is just it's getting kind of a following in this forum. Pushing for another size of the bull. I don't even really know what to make of that.
I wouldn't do it, and I don't think they should be. I don't think they should add more NFTs. and because it will protect, you want to protect the trade pro. Maybe down the road you look at doing something with Avocada or Chapter One or something like that, But I think Tony's on the right path with this. It's going to be interesting. I think other companies will follow with this for sure. So, like I said, I think it's a unique program, and you just don't want to. I mean, again, you have people who've invested in this, counting on La Flor Dominicana, and I think that's important. In La Flor Dominicana, they'll do the right things here, I believe. I think. They do have some these other sizes are floating around, but most of them I think we use for charity. Maybe that's but I don't see them making a 7x70 Andalusian bull. I just don't see it happen.
Now in the chats we're being told no, we don't want a 7x70. We want a 10x100. Just so you know, Christian Aroa has already said that even they won't go 10 to 100. 9x90 is about as high as they're
I've smoked.
Go.
Okay, I smoked a 9x90. It's okay, and I'm the big ring gauge guy. When you get to 90, it can't fit in your mouth. It's not something that's a smokable product at that point. So unless they taper it or something like that, I've seen some 10 ring gauge cigars out there, but this is the first time I smoked the 9x90, and it's not. It just doesn't fit in your mouth. That's the problem. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of cigar to smoke. The biggest I think I've smoked is I think an 8x80, the JFR Lunatic, the big one, the 8x80. I think that's the biggest I've ever had. I'll tell you that I got halfway and I was like, I'm all done with this.
But
like it wasn't that it was a bad cigar. I mean, it's not like it's different, but I'm just like it's too much. I've already had enough.
One of the JFR Lunatics in the 80 does have the tapered head.
Yes,
I don't remember.
That's the one. That's the one.
So
it had a tapered head to it.
And here's what I think I like a good big ring gauge cigar, and I understand that people aren't comfortable with a 60, let's say, in your mouth. And I've always advocated, why don't the companies make these tapered Gordos, right? And I really think if they push more of the tapered Gordos, I think people may experience like the Gordo for what it is, because there are some very good Gordos out there. And I understand that people just don't like the feeling of a big ring gauge cigar in your mouth. I know Sereno did a couple of those Gordos like that, and they were very good.
Yeah. You know who I'm surprised hasn't done something like that? Is Matt Booth. And I don't even need to. I don't even need to explain why I said that.
No, but he did. Didn't he do He did a big payback in the 70 ring gauge size. Yeah, there was back when he was with Davidoff, there was a couple of big ring gauge paybacks out there.
I'm trying to think. I think there was some. I don't think they were that big though. They were bigger than what he has in the line now, but I don't think they were that big.
I thought he had a 70. I'm pretty sure he did, and this is going back like a few years ago when Big Payback first came out.
Yeah, Matt Ty. Matt Ty. Boofy did a 70 ring gauge payback. Okay.
Yeah. Yep, he did. It's called the Cavella.
But he doesn't make. But he doesn't make it anymore, right?
No, because that one didn't come over with Davidoff.
Okay.
Yep, that one didn't come off with Davidoff. But he did do that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, have you smoked the 9x90 yet?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
You couldn't fit it in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't fit the thing in your mouth.
Sorry, I missed that. There's a lot going on
I
in the
haven't
comments
put the
here.
review out for it yet. We were talking about doing a smoking syndicate roundtable with it, but I don't know if those guys are ever gonna want to light it up. But like I said, the problem with it is ultimately I found the cigar. You couldn't even cutting that thing. I had to use a razor blade. There's not a cutter that you could get on that thing.
Right.
And so you could punch some holes in it the other way, but that causes some other problems. It's not you can't puff and rotate a cigar like that. I like a big ring cigar. I'm all for 60 to 70, even 80 is the limit though. You can't go past 80. It's too big.
What's the one that Skip Martin made a few years ago?
The femur, I think that was 133 ring gauge.
Jesus.
Yeah.
133.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was 10 by 133. But he didn't design that to be smoked. He designed that to be seeing if he can make a premium cigar with it. Yeah, it's called Cro-Magnon femur. It was released in 2013.
The Roma shaft.
Yeah, it was a 10 by 133. I never smoked that size, but what's really cool about the Cro-Magnon line is how versatile it is. They've done the 10 by 133 all the way down to a firecracker. So you think about it, Skip's done probably he's probably released a lot of Atolas in that line.
So Jay said that he smoked the femur and it took a long time.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that Jay would do that.
Yeah, I couldn't get my hands on one when they came out.
Why? Because it was so big.
Half they were hard to get. Actually, Half Wheel reviewed it, and I think there's a video out there, Brooks smoking it. So
I think they did. You know how that Half Wheel has their they do like the unicorn reviews, like the ones where they only do one, or the one-offs that don't really qualify in their standard reviews. I think I did see it in there.
I'm positive they reviewed it. I remember the video, but I think the score was like ridiculously low. I mean, I think it was like I want to say it was something like 70. It wasn't. And it was a ridiculously low score. But I think, and it's the same thing with like the Asylum. I'll just tell you, it's not going to score 90 on Coop by any means. It's just mechanically, it's not meant to be smoked. Cigars, there's a limit to how big a cigar could be. There's a limit how comfortable you are smoking a cigar, and then there's a limit how big a cigar could be, and that's
just to make it functional.
Puff it. You can't puff and rotate at 90. That's the whole problem with it. So ultimately, maybe I couldn't do it, right? Maybe someone else could, right? But I had trouble doing it, and ultimately I had some burn problems along the way and combustion problems along the way. Flavor was decent. There was nothing wrong with the flavor. It wasn't like rocking my boat, but it wasn't bad.
One of the things I remember from smoking an 80 ring was, and Jay actually just said it, the amazing thing, I'll bring this back up. The amazing thing to me is that the femur tasted just like the Robusto, but it got hot. Now, what I remember from smoking the 80 ring was that because it's so thick, you had to give it like 5 puffs before you could take like your solid long puff on it. Just to get it hot enough to draw all the smoke in. And you keep doing that, and you're just making it hotter and hotter and hotter, and it's going to affect the way that tastes. I think that was the one thing I remember. It was like you couldn't just take like a half draw and then like a full draw. Like you had to go like 1, 2, 3, get it hot, and then pull it in just to get like a nice full draw on it because it's so big, and to get it all that hot again. To pull a full draw through it it's different than smoking a standard size cigar. I mean, it's a very different animal. For anyone who's never actually gone above like 60, I would say it's a very different experience.
Yeah, I agree. I saw a comment. Oscar's Woody. Yes, Oscar's Woody was 21 by 100.
Jesus.
Yeah, I remember that cigar. It's a good catch, Bruce. I forgot about that one.
And what's the one? I think La Aurora makes. Is it the Stravaganza? It's not a big ring gauge, but it's long.
It was long. It was a long cigar.
It's like 2 feet long or something like that, or like 1.5 feet. It's like it's got like a serious length to it. I think maybe 60, 70 ring gauge. I think, but I know it's very long.
It was a long one. Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not remembering it all.
I don't know if they're still made, but I remember probably like 6 years ago they were floating around. I saw one time, and it was at where did I see it? Oh, it was Castro's back room in Nashua, New Hampshire. They had one in the glass case, and I think it was like $100. And I was like, wow, that's cool to see, but I don't think I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I'm like, I'm never gonna smoke that thing.
Yeah.
It'll take me 3 days.
Right.
Sick of it.
Exactly. And a lot of times, long cigars are as problemsome as bigger ring gauges are with me. So I tend to find longer cigars run out of gas.
Something huge just fucking flew in here. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And it was, I don't know what the hell that was. A bird or something? What the fuck was that? It was making this loud noise. It flew right past me, and then it landed over there somewhere. I don't know what the fuck it was. I was like, what is that sound? I don't know. Whatever. Sorry. I was just like, what the fuck is that? Sorry. What did you just say? Can you repeat that?
Longer cigars are problemsome to me.
Hmm.
They tend to run out of gas. I tend to smoke a little wetter on the tip, so that's a problem for me. Because if that tip just keeps getting wet, it's going to kill the whole flavor profile. When you get down 6-7 inches,
Yeah.
So I have to be when I smoke a longer cigar, I have to be more cognizant of that too, like not to smoke it very wet.
I mean, LFD does make some bigger cigars. I mean, they make the Digger. They made the meaner Digger. I don't think they make that anymore, but they made that at one
I
time.
have one still.
I do
have
too.
One still.
I do too.
Yeah, it was a good cigar. That was a 10 by 60, I believe. Or an 8 by. It was no. It was only, I think
no. It was
10.
10. It was 10.
It was
It's
a 10.
longer. Yeah.
Meaner Digger. Yeah.
And it's a barber pole.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really good.
Yeah. I still have one that I got from. Where did I get that? I think I got it from John like a few years ago. I still have it, and I should smoke it one of these days, but I do still have it. It's in my humidor, and it's a cool cigar. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I want to smoke this, and I do, and I want to, but then I'm like, do I have the time? It's like, do I have the time to smoke this thing?
Yeah.
But no, I mean they make some big cigars already, so I mean it's not like it's out of their realm, but I don't know if they would do it in the Andalusian Bull Blend.
By the way, I want to thank Dan Thompson for being in the chat room tonight, so he can control McAuliffe, Alan Rubin, keep him out of line.
Wow.
We won't have any problems. We won't have any problems with Alan tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean.
Notice there's no Gabe Kapler comments or anything from him. Just saying, he's behaving tonight.
Well, a few shows ago he did work for McAuliffe Cigars. Now that he does, and now that and boss Dan Thompson is here, he's got to be a little bit more tamed. But
he's in total denial that his Yankees are 4-14 this month. He called me a troll when I said that. I'm like, you're 4-14 is a stat. Like I hear, like when they're 18-4, I hear it from him. So trust me.
Cool. Yeah. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this, but I have to be fair. Fair is fair. I'm going to say something, and you know that I still love you, and it is all in fun, but I got to do something that a lot of people are going to be like, wow. Maybe not on that specific comment, but maybe more in a general sense. I have to say that you can be a troll sometimes.
Okay.
I mean, the only reason I stoked the fire with Gabe Kapler is not because I give a shit. It's because I know you do. But then you continue to bring it up. And I only play along because it keeps the fire going, because it's entertaining to watch you spin.
I'll give you that, because Alan.
But
I don't like the word. I don't know if the word troll is accurate, but I do try to stir the pot. I'll say that. Yeah.
I mean, all I have to do is mention any of the handful of people who I know you have a burning hate for, and we'll be here for another 20 minutes just talking about it.
We're going to we're getting into football season, so there'll be a couple of. I don't have Joe Judge to kick around this year, so.
Yeah, he's back with us now. So
good. You can deal with him. I hope. And by the way, I hope he's better for you guys than he was with. In all seriousness, because he was an absolute disaster. So I hope maybe going back to an assistant sometimes the second time through, learning from your experience. Hopefully he could do better. I don't think the guy was a bad guy by any means, and I think when the reporters were like accusing him of throwing a pizza party, celebrating getting fired, when he was trying to throw a pizza party to thank his players, that's the stuff I think that went over the line with him. So he was just a bad coach. That's it.
As far as
just
that
didn't
goes.
perform. Yeah, he's not a bad guy.
As far as that goes.
Right.
I was waiting for you to say it too.
No. I mean, it's
as far as that goes.
As far as that goes, yeah.
Thank you.
I think, like I said, people and job performance are two different things. So
that's all I was looking for. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So that because Matt Ty is here, who we know very well and we love very much. How about that cigar? Shout out. How about that cigar? HBTC, burn cigars, not bridges. No Garrett tonight.
Yeah.
Garrett's probably on the road, but Matt is here.
Good guys, man. I love those guys.
Love them. They're brothers.
I'm going to be heading up their way in December, so I'm very excited. So
they're from Minnesota, but I know for sure Matt. I don't know if Garrett and Justin are, but I know for sure Matt is a Packers fan. So
Yes.
even though he's from Minnesota, he's a Packers fan. And
Well, you're close to Wisconsin there, though, in that eastern Minnesota area, yeah.
right. And he just posted Matt LaFleur for president, and
He might be an improvement over the candidates we have. So,
and that's another hot one for Coop. But what I will say is, are you ready to see Nicolas Cage choke in the playoffs again?
Nicolas Cage.
Oh, come on. You didn't see? Roger showed up to training camp in the white tank top and the long hair like Nicolas Cage and Con Air.
Oh, yeah.
And people were doing the comparison. I started calling him Nicolas Cage.
I like Rodgers as a player a lot. It's hard for me to ever knock him. And I like him so much more than his predecessor. So, I'd love to see Rodgers have a couple more rings. I really would.
I mean,
he's a good guy.
Me too.
I don't think he's a bad guy. I mean, he's not a bad guy. He's got his issues, but yeah.
Honestly, though, I mean, he's a better regular season player than a playoff player. I mean, just the numbers don't lie.
I mean, look, Dan Fouts was one of the best regular Chargers. He was a terrible playoff quarterback. So I mean, it happens sometimes. But at least Rodgers could say he has a ring. There's a big difference. Rodgers got the ring. Dan Fouts, unfortunately, doesn't have a ring.
It's true. And here comes Alan. Here comes Alan Rubin again with another paragraph about the Yankees. I'm not really. I don't want to get into it. This isn't a sports night right now. We can circle back to sports maybe later in the program because there's other things to talk about. But Alan Rubin is here. He's trying to gently stir the pot with Coop. I think as the show goes on.
He couldn't resist responding. Told you so.
Yeah, he just can't help it. He just can't help it.
He can't help it. Yep, got him again.
He's got to get you going. Matt Tyler.
That's all I can say. That's all my comment back on that is. Got ya.
Brian Lewis is lighting up an Andalusian Bowl.
I get him every time.
Oh, man. So, yeah, tonight is about the bigger bowl. I mean, we talked about it, and,
Yeah, so let me kind of ask some more things about you, because Smoke and Tobacco don't really put a lot of coverage into this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
More coverage than certainly I did. More coverage than anyone did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, like, I know you're friends with John. I know he's part of the show, but you obviously saw something that maybe a lot of us didn't with the amount of coverage that you put into this. So give me a little more background on that, if you want to, certainly.
No, I mean, La Flor Dominicana has a takeover with Smoke and Tobacco for the duration of the NFT project, and so that was part of it. And also, I just the more I got into it, the more fun I had with it, and it's just honestly, it's on a professional stance. It's something that we're doing, but at the same time, I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So
yeah, you seem like you're having fun doing it. I mean, you seem like you're really into it. Like I said, I've enjoyed. I can tell you, a bunch of us have been in chats and stuff, and we've all been talking about these auctions. So it's been, to say nobody. I don't want to hear that nobody cares about this, because you said there's a Discord chat. I haven't gotten into that, but I can tell you all these like side chats that are going on, especially when it gets to the last couple of hours of the auction. People care. People care. Trust me. If people are interested, people care. I'm interested, and I care. I'm not gonna give you that at all.
Yeah, no, I definitely think people do. So I'm pulling up the. I just want to pull up something right here on my laptop because I want to have some information. I'm pulling up the NFT auction site. Just what I'm doing. I want to just double check on NFT number 5. And yeah, that same bid is still in there with 14 hours to go. It is still at 77,000.
That's Matul. He's gotten outbid on every one of these. He went high this time.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing. It's funny is you watch, the first few. It started, they were kind of nickel and diming themselves, and then the second one a little bit, but not so much. The third one, you saw people come right out of the gate, big bids, and then number 4, same thing happened, and then number 5, it just right to 77,000. I think people know at this point it's not going for anything definitely less than that. So let's just start high.
Yeah, and I think exactly, and I think last number 2 went for a little less money, probably because it was a weekend bid. Most of that took place. So I think this 5 one, the same thing. It's a weekend bid. I think 6 and 7 are going to be a lot more active. So I think 7 is going to be crazy. I think 7 is going to be the craziest one because it will be the last one.
I think initially, I think the feeling was that the first one was going to be more than the rest because it was number one. So when they got to number 2, it was like, it's not going to be. I think it was like, well, it's not worth more than number 1. And then we get to the third one, and I think, a private buyer who was just like, I mean, I'm all in for this. I just want this. Goes right to 90,000. I just being, aggressive to get it, and good for him. And then I think that set the tone like, oh shit, that one went to 90. So then it was like, it was no problem for Jack Schwartz to be like, well, let's go to 90, and they got it. And now that we've set the tone for 90 right in the middle, it's like, well, I mean, it's not going to go less than that now. I mean, 2 in a row go for 90,000. This one's right up to 77. Someone's going to come in and bid against that, and that's going to probably go right into the 80s. And that, so I mean, I think initially people thought like, well, 2 is going to be less than number 1 because it's not number 1. But then I think the bid and the buying pattern changed, and now it's just kind of changed the whole thing to be like, okay, well, you're looking at what the first 4 sold for. You're like, I mean, you're not getting the rest of them under 80,000. Like, I mean, it's just I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think Matt said the last one. Matt Ty, it 6-figure. I believe will be the 6-figure one. Because it will be the last chance. It will be the last chance to do this. You may not get another shot at it. So someone may be willing to go the extra mile at that point.
Yeah, I mean, if maybe 5 won't go that high, but I would be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if 6 didn't go for 100,000. But number 7, I don't think it's going for less than 100,000. I just don't. I don't think.
I don't either. Yeah.
I mean,
good job by yeah.
And you're right, because you know what? You get to the last one, people are like, oh, it's the only one left. And it's like, if you were on the fence, you're like, you got to make a decision. Do you want it or not? It's the last one. I think there's going to be a handful of people who are prepared to pay 6 figures for it at the end. I think, and you get into something like that, you're like, wow, you look at the thing of going to the first one, you don't really know what to expect. Going to the last one, you've seen what the other one sold for. You see who bought them, you kind of hear what they're doing with it, and then you're like, and you know the potential at that point, so you're like, fuck it, let's go for it. I think that's what Jack Schwartz did with number 4. I think that they were like, you know what, fuck it, let's go for it, because you know what, I think they feel that there was value there. At 90,000, I think they felt it was safe. And they're like, let's go for it, I don't want to miss out. And I think you're going to see that mentality continue with more people as they continue to bid. Alex, obviously owning the first 2, he wants to keep up the value on it too. He don't want to see the rest of them drop off, and he wants to keep that value up. So, I mean, it's smart for him to keep bidding on it. Even if he doesn't win it, he's driving the price up. He's still helping himself. He's protecting his investment. So
I agree.
There's a lot of things here with just the bidding. I mean, the strategy, the mentality.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's become very. And then I think we're going to see what happens with the cigars and who gets their hands. How many people actually get their hands on these cigars is going to be interesting. And how they're distributed. I mean, those are all questions I think that we're going to have following this, which is going to keep this story going.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's going to be like, all right, auctions are over, they're all sold. Now what?
Yep. I just wonder if they had done a Toro size instead of the Lonsdale size, if they would have got more money.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. Does a Lonsdale size have me doing handstands? No. I understand.
You smoked it. You've smoked the NFT cigar.
I have it. I haven't smoked it. I've smoked the Toro. I smoked the Jack Schwartz one. I believe it was a Toro size.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had done a more traditional size, right? Just Lonsdale's not a popular size. I'm not saying it's not a good size. This is not a popular size. But imagine if it was a size that had more, more appeal. I just wonder what it would have went for. You've smoked it, right? So you
I've smoked 2.
I'm sure it's very good. I'm sure it's very good. But Lonsdale's making a little bit of a comeback this year. But
I've been getting really into Lonsdales this year, personally.
It's better than Lens. It's a better size than a Lancero, I believe. Because you just get a little more of that ring on it, and you just get a little less.
A little more filler.
I think I mean, if you get into that 6x42, 6x44 range, I like that. That's 5 5/8 by 46 is Corona Gorda. That's what I really like, that size. But the Lonzo gets closer to that at least.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't even think it's like a full Lonzo because it's 6 inches by 44.
Yeah, I mean, you get into this whole naming council, we call it, where what should it be called versus what.
I mean, it's close enough. I mean, it's not like it's too close to like a a Corona. I mean, it's in the realm, but there's definitely
Yeah.
longer Lonsdales out there.
Yeah, Alex nailed the point here. This is absolute. Lonsdales are now gonna be sexy because of this.
Mhm.
They're gonna be back. He's right. I mean, Lonsdale's probably got more attention with this than anything that I've seen. It's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, what I will tell you is that whether or not you like the smaller ring gauge, just put that aside for a minute. Let's talk about the cigar that actually exists. I've smoked two, and I mean, obviously different from the standard bowl. It's a figurado, right? So at its fattest point, it's 64. This is a solid, 44 all the way through. It burns a lot cooler, which obviously affects the way that it tastes. There's not as much filler to it that would, that's not as overpowering over the wrapper and the binder. So it's definitely different. It smokes different. It tastes different. We've talked about how the small ring gauges, when you want to know what the filler really tastes like, or the wrapper really tastes like, you smoke it in a smaller ring gauge. There's not as much filler to overpower it. Yeah, you definitely taste more of that wrapper on it. It burns cooler because it's not as thick. You're not burning it as hot. So it's very different. I like it. It's very good. People have asked me, well, which one's better, the original or that one? And it's pretty close. I mean,
I thought the Toro for Jack Schwartz, which was a 6x54, was better than the regular production size. And normally I never say that about a shop exclusive size. Normally it's the shop exclusive size is always inferior to the regular production, right? But I thought because I think what happens is when that figurado gets closer to that bigger ring gauge, something falls off with it, and it didn't fall off with the Toro. That's why I'm excited to smoke the Lonsdale, because I think having that consistent size. I don't think the tapering helps the regular production size. Is what I'm saying. I think it's a cool size, and it's certainly a very good cigar. The Andalusian
and it's
Bull.
iconic. I mean,
yeah, it's
like
look, I rated the Andalusian Bull a 90. I didn't score the Jack Schwartz one, but I probably would have scored that 91, 92. Mm-hmm. So because I think that blend worked really, and then you go back to the LFD 25th, which had some similarities to the Andalusian Bull, right? And that was a great cigar as well. So I think there's something. I think there's a reason why Lido and family are using this as a private blend. It's probably a very good cigar. And I wanted to smoke it after the auction was over. That's why I waited. I do have one from Lido.
Yeah, no, I mean it is a good size. I mean, if you're a Lonsdale fan, you're gonna love it. I think if you liked the bowl, the original bowl, I think you're gonna enjoy this, because I think it provides a more focused, refined flavor. I'm leaning towards that. I like this better than the original. I first smoked it and I was like, wow, and I smoked the second one, and I was like, yeah, I really like this a lot. This cigar is special.
Yeah, like I said, I would say just based on me smoking the Jack Schwartz one, I just felt it was, better in a non-tapered format. So I'm really now this is gonna be a much smaller ring gauge than I've ever had on it. So I'm really curious to see how it is. But the fact you're saying positive things is a good sign. So.
Well, the other thing you gotta remember about the original Bull too, right? Is it starts out thick and then it burns down, so you're already getting it hot, and up at the thicker part, and then as you go down, you're going thinner. But that heat. I mean, it depends on how you smoke it, but I mean, relatively, you're bringing that down as you go. Yeah. So it's like you start big, you get it hot, and then you bring it. It's gonna smoke different. It is. Yeah. It's gonna smoke different. It's different. Especially even with the Toro. Whether you take the Lonsdale, the NFT one out of it, that Toro it is. It's gonna smoke way different than the original. They're all gonna smoke different, but I think that the Jack Schwartz and the NFT one are gonna be closer than the original because they're gonna burn more consistent all the way through.
Yeah,
and that has an impact on it. It does. Yeah. So, again, it'll be interesting to see when more people get their hands on it, what they think. Because, I mean, this is a cigar that, very few have actually had the opportunity to have because it's technically not available yet. So as it gets out there and it's on the market and people smoke it, it'll be interesting to see what people really think.
Yeah.
It's cool, man. It really is. It's exciting
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I thought it was a brilliant move that they brought those to the trade show and they got them into people's hands, because obviously, if people smoked it and they probably had a lot of confidence on the floor. If people smoked it, hey, they'll create. Hey, this is a really good cigar. You may want to bid on this to try to get it.
Right.
So I'm sure that was part of all, and that was a very smart move that they did with that.
Right. I mean, in addition to that, you also get 1 of 7 of the gold bullion humidor, which is it's not made out of gold, but what is made out of gold is the LFD logo on the lid.
Yep.
I think it's 18 karat gold, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
That's gold, but the rest of it's a gold paint, and it's a really nice humidor.
Yeah.
I've seen it, I've touched it. It's a very beautiful humidor. So even that alone's cool. I know Carney was saying, like it'd be great, like the people who win them, like, as a retailer who's gonna sell them, like put it in your humidor, like in your store, like in a special case or like in its own spot, look with a light on it, and kind of make it make the whole thing an experience, right? So if someone comes in to buy one, it's like, okay, you take it out of the gold humidor, like it's a whole. You're not just like grabbing it out of like the box, right? You're taking it out of the humidor. It's a whole experience. So as a retailer, I mean, they kind of also give you the tools to sell it too and present it well. It's not like, all right, well here's the box, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, but like I just see, retailers are gonna really have to lock that thing up. I mean,
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, it's gotta. Yeah, I mean, that's just something that. Yeah.
Alan Rubin actually, he says right here, white glove service. And I actually said that to John. So when we were at,
I agree. Yeah.
when we were in Brickell, Empire last week for the launch event. So we had it on display. Now you've been to Empire, and I know a lot of people probably have been there. But if you haven't been, so they have the glass humidor, and then so you go in, and then to the left, there's another small glass room through another glass door, where they keep like all the cutters and lighters and stuff. That's where all their DuPonts are. So we had it like on a pedestal, like right in the middle of that room, the lid open, and then the iPad with the actual NFT thing like playing.
Yeah.
And it was like on display. And John was looking at it, he's like, that's how it needs to be presented.
Yeah.
It needs to be like its own thing, like in like a glass case, like. And I said to him, like, even like the white gloves, white glove service, like make it a whole thing.
Yeah. This is why I go back to, and I know I'm going to get off topic with this. The PCA trade show cannot be a flea market, okay? Cannot be a thing set up with tablecloths and boxes on there, because there are luxury items that you want to display. And let's say the floor wants to display something similar in the future or whatever. You need to have like the glass cabinets, and you need to have these things locked up and stuff. You can't put these things on tablecloths like a flea market outside. So, I mean, this is why I go back, look at even Atabay's booth, Selected Tobacco's booth. I would have been, the floor did have a nice cabinet for this at the trade show. I mean, you agree, right? It was very well. Their booth is very. I mean, that booth. Now try putting that booth somewhere outside. No, it won't work. I mean, that's why we need convention halls and things like that. Because you need to showcase those types of things, and they really need to be protected.
I want to bring up. The photos. I have a photo of it on display.
Yeah, we had a problem with the photo we took. It didn't come out. So yeah, we had the when we did the floor booth, unfortunately that one didn't come out. So
PCA photo. Hold on one second. It should be right here. I'm gonna bring this up on the screen really quick. There it is.
Yeah.
That's it on display at PCA in Las Vegas in July.
And that's how we want to display it in a very nice setting like that.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful humidor, and I think, and even having the iPad with the actual NFT on it playing, it's a nice little play. It's like, well, you have the NFT, you got the humidor, the cigars are there, it's all there. Yeah, beautiful presentation.
And I love this because, look, I'm all in favor of having value-priced cigars. It's important, that everyone – and you can get some great value-priced cigars for like $6 that will smell great. But, look, we still are a luxury item business. Cigars are still a luxury item. And I really like the fact when we can showcase this top-of-the-line stuff like this. That's why, and I think that's one thing that the trade show, the way it is right now, really is conducive to that, where you can do that.
Yeah, another thing that, I don't know if I can play the movie. I can't play the movie. I was able to do it before. I can't remember how I did it, but I know how to do it. Sorry. Because I have a video of the actual. Is this? I think I did this last. Yeah, new animated. I think I can do it this way. Yeah, right here. So this is the actual video file. Play full screen with audio. Sure, let's do that.
That is good.
Yeah, I mean, so
Yeah.
and that's the file. So I mean, you'll get that too, which is cool. And
Yeah. Again, how would you? Like I've heard things like having it the PCA outside at Lucas Oil Stadium. How would you do this at Lucas Oil?
hey, Coop, sorry, I'm not sure what I did there.
I don't know what happened, but no, all good.
We're
I
back.
figured it
We're
was
back.
something.
But yeah, no, I was trying to play that because I was like, I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking
yeah.
about it. So, but then I don't
Yeah.
know. I clicked the wrong thing and it's gone. So, but we're back now. So we're good.
Yeah, like I said, I think I
Um,
was just saying this is some of the things that differentiate our trade show. Makes this trade show kind of puts it in the front, the spotlight. I think these little things that we're doing that we're showing here with that, brilliant. Just makes our trade show special.
Yeah, no, it does. It's nice when you have a nice presentation.
Yeah.
You spend all the money on the booth. You go all the way out there. You have customers coming in to look at your stuff. Especially the luxury stuff, right? I mean, you talk about Selected Tobacco's booth at the trade show. If you didn't see it, I mean, museum quality. I mean, it was like not dimly lit, but like low lit. Everything's in a glass case with a spotlight, so the centerpiece is each of those items. It's not like it's all light washed. It's focused. Like each piece is highlighted so that it stands out, because that really is the focus. And LaFleur did a great job with this. I mean, it was still in a glass case. It was presented well. I mean, it wasn't like that, but it was similar. I mean, it was the same idea, and it's especially when you're presenting something that a month later you're selling for $90,000. I mean, it should be on display.
And what I love about LaFleur's booths is they have the outside glass cabinets, so it's kind of like Macy's department store in New York, like window shopping. And then I think LaFleur's got one of the top 5 booths at the show, because I just love that setup, what they have. And like I said, I've heard talk of, hey, let's move this thing to a football stadium or something like that. And I love it because we can smoke, but you would lose that. Those cabinets are really important for some of the products that are being displayed.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of different just for the sake. I mean, hell, Septimo had $5 million lighters on display in their booth. They weren't in a case. They had armed guards with them, but I mean, they were on display. But at least they isolated them. They were roped off. I mean, like they put kind of their own spin on it. But they had their Emperor collection all lined. So there was a red, when you came into the El Septimo booth, it was like red carpet, and then it was lined with glass cases like all the way down, and that had all of the Emperor collection like in the boxes, the nice lacquered boxes on display. And you get to the end, and then you had the 3 gold lighters that were $5 million a piece. You had the cognac in the gold bottle, and then you had the gold pyramid humidor that opened, and it had the 8 Solomons and the Solomon shaped pen. Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of did something different, but the people who had luxury stuff, for the most part, I think they all had a nice presentation to it.
Yeah,
They showed
yeah,
it very well.
yeah. No, it's important. And obviously, LaFleur, what they have going for them as well as United. They have Lito, the Gomez family behind these things. Same with United. They obviously have the Alfonso family with Selected Tobacco and Dave Garofalo on the United end. So I mean, you have, El Septim was still a little bit of an unknown for us. I think is the difference, but certainly they have a great presentation.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice and refreshing, to see
Yeah.
things, presented in a
Yep.
nice way.
Yep. Yep.
Last year, I would all say, like last year, people had very downscaled boots, but we all know why. That wasn't.
Yeah, and I
for
wrote
lack
about
of
that the
effort.
economy of scale came back, and I think if you look at what Pete Johnson did, right?
Hmm.
I think Pete Johnson and my father, they got it to a point where they came to a happy medium with it. They don't have to go quite as expensive as they had in the past, but they don't have to go bare bones like they had last year. They went, and Ashton to some extent too. They found a sweet spot with that, I think. So.
And the LaFleur booth, that's the same booth that they've had for a few years now, right? They've had that same booth for a while.
That's
right?
as long as I remember, they've had that booth. It's an elongated booth with the wood paneling around it.
Yeah.
It to me it works for them. It's a perfect size booth. I love the design of that booth. I wouldn't change a thing. I don't think you need to change the booth for the sake of changing the booth, unless the booth is not working anymore for some reason.
Right.
But that booth works. It's like I said, the outside. You can walk around the outside, then go inside and talk business.
It's nice because it's not too big. It's formal. It has its
Yeah.
presentation
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah.
It's got plenty of room inside. It's comfortable. I think you're right. It's like a sweet spot for them.
Yeah, it's perfect size, and then they have a. We lucked out. We got time with Lito, and Lito's got his kind of his little lounge area, which is pretty cool. When he was holding court with us there, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had that first day. He had that nice blue suit on too.
Yeah. Yep.
Looking sharp.
Yep.
Looking sharp. You guys
Absolutely.
tell you, you know what? Everyone, when we talk about style, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, Michael Herklots, he's a real stylish kind of guy." And I told Michael, I go, "Dude, there's a lot of guys here that give you a run for your money." I mean, Oliver had that like cream 3-piece suit on. I was like,
Yeah.
Dude, you look great." And he was like, "Thanks."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, dude, like, you got the 3-piece on." Like he wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I go over to LFD. You got Tony looking like John Wick, real fancy. He's got the long hair now. He looks sharp. You got Lito looking fantastic with his blue suit. I mean, Herklots look good too. I mean, I'm not gonna. He looked good. And you had Junior there. He had that green Andalusian bull blazer on, so he's on theme. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. What a show for the Gomez brothers, Tony and Lito Jr. What a show they had.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've said this a few times. They're the next generation of that company, and it's in very good hands. Is what I'm going to tell you. I mean, I would feel very confident, with those two guys at the helm for many, many years. Once Lito's ready to kind of take it easy. Maybe, and I can't see Lito taking it easy anytime soon either.
No.
So, but yeah, I think they're in great. I think what a he's got to be very proud of both. They're good people, and they're just real professional and fun to be around. Yeah.
Just like Jose Orlando Padron and Carlos Fuente. Lito's gonna be another one of those guys. He's gonna be working until he's dead. I mean, he ain't walking away. I mean, he's got people who will be maybe taking more workload, but he'll be there. And it's one of those businesses, and that's just how it is. I mean, there's so much love and passion for it. It's like, I'm gonna do this till I die, and I think that's something special too. But you're right. I mean, I think Tony. You got Junior coming up too. He's got right here. Let's not forget about Solus. Don't forget. Junior has
what a
his
cigar
debut.
that was. Yeah, really good cigar.
It's good. I've had a couple. It's very good. So definitely check that. I think that hits retailers sometime October, roughly.
Yep. That's gonna be one you want to get your hands on, folks.
Absolutely. And I'm not just saying that too. And I know some people think I have some bias, but I already told them, like, look, John may be one of my best friends, but if he have something I don't like, I'm gonna say, hey, I don't like it, and I'm sure he's gonna be like, why? Why don't you like it, bro? What's wrong with it? Well, you know what? Maybe that cigar isn't for you, and he'll be whatever. But at least I'll be honest about it.
Right.
It's a good cigar.
I think. Yep.
It's very different.
I have, yeah. I thought, what was funny is I didn't think I was gonna. I'm gonna be totally honest. I didn't think I was gonna like the Solis. And I was wrong. Because I tend to like darker blends and stuff like that. So and I did like Lennox and I was blown. I thought it was a really. I didn't have it on my top 5 list only because it's a limited production cigar, and I went for regular production cigars for the top 5. But certainly, it's one of the best cigars I had at the trade show, and the other guys did have it on the list because they they didn't care about the regular. I'm on a crusade to make regular production cigars great again. So that's my goal for the next year.
I know you're sick of the limiteds.
Oh, but here's what's fun. Want to hear something funny?
What?
There's a good chance a limited is gonna win dominate the top 5 in my list this year. The way it's working, yeah. So go figure that out, yeah. But I'm going by best performing cigars. So
Hey,
I don't.
is that cigar been reviewed and published yet?
Which one?
The
No,
one you're-
the one I'm talking about has not been published yet. It will be.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be soon. And because when you see the score, you will know what it is.
Is it over 93?
It will be 92 and 93. It won't be over 93.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, you get over 93 now in Coop. You got to move heaven and earth. It's almost impossible. I got to be honest with you. Deliberately impossible. The idea is, that's where you start getting more you smoke it. If it gets better, then it gets into those scores. But you won't be seeing many 94s anymore in Coop.
Okay. Very, very strict.
Yeah.
Very, very strict.
Well, I mean, we have we talked about the scoring inflation going on out there. And when I see cigars that are like 96s, 97s, and they don't even taste good, I'm like,
Yeah, Half Wheel has gotten some heat the last couple of months. Some of the reviews they've put out, I know that they gave Le Patissier, I think they gave it a 74.
You know what? That was a miss, that cigar. I almost said 74, but it was a miss. They weren't wrong on that.
They gave I think we covered this in the last show. They gave the Guardian of the Farm Cerberus, I think they gave that a 76.
Ben gave it an 81. He didn't like it either.
And they had
but I liked it.
And I think Charlie did the review, and I believe he said that the big part of that was the burn issues were it was just too much.
That was like what Night Watch with me. But Aganorsa leaves, Cerberus is an experimental brand in a lot of ways. I don't want to beat them up on that too much because it's the Corojo 2012. It's the first cigar that has been released with that wrapper. So,
Jay Davis, Bewitched got an 84.
From who?
Saka, the Moester de Saka, the Bewitched.
Who gave it an 84?
Half Wheel. I remember that.
Well, the Half Wheel Fanboy Club is out tonight, man.
I did actually see that.
What did I give it? What did I give it?
What did you give the Bewitched?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see it. I only happened to see that on my news feed.
Good answer. That's the right answer. You didn't see it. I didn't.
Well, it's not because I go to I have my own thing I got to worry about. The only time I see Half Wheel scores, to be honest with you, is when I'm just on my news feed on Facebook, and I see it. And the only time I know is when it's a bad score because people start talking about it, and that's the only way I know. Because the good scores no one bitches about because it's like, oh, 92, that's good. You see an 84 and everyone's like, how the hell did Charlie give this an 84? And it becomes a whole thing and it's on my newsfeed. I'm like, oh, give it an 84. Wow.
I dropped an 84 a couple of weeks ago, and the only people I heard from it were people from the company. No one said, and that's one of the lowest scores I've dropped on a cigar, and it was from EPC. So it's
really
people.
Surprised.
Oh, it was a TAA cigar from 2021. It just didn't perform. I mean, so. It's and I always say this is my answer to everything. Something has to sometimes score at the bottom. It sometimes happens. You can't have everything score above a 90. So it happens.
I think Coop gave Bewitched an 89. Mitchell says.
I didn't review it yet. I didn't smoke it yet. So yeah, I have it, but I didn't smoke it.
I have it too. We haven't smoked it yet. We have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, I got the one from stock. I gotta buy it because I don't use show samples, but. I gotta smoke it. I'll smoke the show sample and then probably buy it afterwards. So you won't see that review for a while.
Well, Nicole, even though she's not sitting next to me, she's trying to keep this show on track, so to speak.
Good job.
She did bring up something really big. Another major news story that kind of came out. I think this was a shock for a lot of people. Liana Fuente will be stepping down and leaving Arturo Fuente.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was very surprised about.
I actually told. Yeah, I think I actually gave you the insight on that. Yeah, but yeah, um, yeah, it was a surprise to a lot of us.
Yeah, no, I mean it's all over. It's on many websites now. I mean it's no secret now. It's out there, and she'll be leaving at the end of the month, and she says that she is ready to, um, to do new adventures and new projects and stuff like that. She wants to do something new. I don't think we know what that is. She didn't really disclose, but I mean I wish her the best. Obviously, I mean we know
We're gonna
Liana
miss her.
and
We're gonna miss her. That's
yeah,
what it comes at.
100%.
Yeah, what a, and I gotten to know her over the past couple of years. I didn't really know her until about a couple of years ago, and she's just a pleasant, wonderful person, good, kind heart. She'll be missed, and I wish her the best. And certainly I think the great thing is she has choices that she can make and do what she wants to do in her life. And who am I to say? Like, I've heard conspiracy theories. Honestly, it's not our business here. Um, and you know, like I said, the only thing I'll say, the only thing I can add into this is, you know, I grew up in a business family, obviously. My dad's a limousine company, and I saw things when like his brother left and stuff. It was just they wanted to do some other things. Was all was all that was happening. The same. When my grandfather turned the company over, he wanted to just work with an executive from another record company. So he turned the company over to my father. It was just, sometimes you gotta, there's free will and you want to do things you want to do. And certainly Leanna's look. The other thing I say, this cigar business, I don't know how these guys stay on the road, or women stay on the road. It's tough. I look, if my spouse traveled as much as these people on the cigar road, I don't think I'd be happy about it either. So, certainly maybe you want to spend time with your spouse and your family at home, and I respect a lot of that, and I wish her nothing but the best.
I could see she got married in the last couple of years, right? That was recently. Not, it wasn't like
Well,
last year, but it was couple years ago.
like Carlito's other daughter got married this year, but I
Right.
don't know. She's been married. I don't know how long she's been married for, but I'm assuming she's a young couple. Like you and Nicole, you're a young couple, yeah.
So I mean, maybe Nicole's like conspiracy theories. I look.
No, it's
It's
not our business. It's not our business.
No, but
It's
if I had to make like an educated guess, you bring up a good point. Maybe as a woman, maybe she's thinking like, hey, like I want to start a family soon, and I maybe this is too much for me to do while I have kids and start a family, and I totally
yeah.
get that, and that's respectable. I mean, it's
you have choices, and sometimes look, will be a point. Maybe there's a point I'll say I'm going to walk away from Cigar Coop because I want to do other things, but that's not happening right now. But there may be a point where that happens. And that's certainly, you be able to make those choices.
Yeah, I mean it's sad to see her to to leave our world here, so to speak.
Yeah.
But
She did a good job too for them at the marketing end of things. She really did. That whole Fuente store and the rare pink. She did really good. She wasn't a blender in the factory, and I don't think she would claim to be. But she was a big part of the operations of that company.
yeah, I had reached out to her privately and I said, "Oh, hey, I heard the news. Like that's crazy," and she was like, "Yeah, it was a hard decision, but it's also an easy decision." And and again, her reasons is her personal business and all that. And she was like, "But you never know what the future holds. So maybe we see her come back down the road, and maybe that's the only thing I'm gonna speculate is hey maybe." She is thinking about starting a family, and maybe like once her family's going and her kids are older and she has more time again, maybe I'll get back into it. But whatever it is, I wish her the best. She will be missed. She will be loved.
I hope she stays in touch with a lot of us. I got to reach out to her still, but I hope she does. Two of my favorite interviews I've done have been with her. And I just what a bubbly personality. I remember when we interviewed her for the first time on Primetime. We just felt good after that interview. It was like, it was just such a positive discussion and a wonderful discussion. And then we talked to her at the trade show last year. We didn't get to talk to her this year. It was a little chaotic, I think, with the whole Fuente Padron thing, but nonetheless, she's great.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is too. Sorry, I had to kind of mute myself real quick. Yeah, no, I mean, the other thing is too. I mean, with her family and the company and all that, I mean, she'll she'll always be connected, and
Yep.
and I'm sure we'll still see her, you know, here and there, and
Yeah.
and you know, whatever it is. I don't think she'll be completely gone. I think you know, we'll still see her. Or maybe she'll make
Yeah.
appearances at trade shows or something, or at special events. But you know, it will be it'll be interesting to see what she does next. And like I said, I think we wish her the best.
Yep.
It's going to be different without her. It will be.
Yep.
One
Yep.
question. So Nicole asked a question too. She's like, so like, will they still do the rare pinks like without Liana? Like,
Oh,
I'm
still
sure
do
they
it.
will. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they will. Oh, by the way, Brandon Bellman is behind the big ring gauge movement. I love it. So,
Coop,
yeah,
hold on one sec, Coop. Hold on one second.
we've lost Matt Tobacco here on the on the Spare Notes series here. He must have done something to get into trouble here. But anyway, yeah, I wish him nothing but the best as far as as far as that goes, Liana. You know, definitely check out our interviews with her, and you know, family businesses are tough. You know, is what I tell folks. And sometimes it's not for everybody. You know, you love your family and you work with your family, and two different things. I did a little short stint with my dad. I worked for him. I think we would have killed each other if I stayed working for him. But you know, that's doesn't change the bonds with family goes there. So I don't know. Matt and Nicole having a private conversation on the side here, so we'll oh, he's back. Okay. Well, we were just commenting on your private conversation you guys were having.
No, I think there's like a giant like cicada or something that flew into the garage.
Oh, the cicadas are
It's
on
massive,
fire.
dude. It's like
if I open
it's
up
huge.
this bay, you'll hear them. I mean, yeah.
Matt Ty, the host walks away. Yeah, I mean,
The host walked out. He just walked out like Matt. Yeah. I mean,
I was just curious. Well, you know what the problem was? I'm not like afraid of it, but it's so loud, and I'm like, what the fuck is that sound? And
yeah,
like I said,
they're loud.
it came in. I'm like, what is that? And then
Yeah.
I see it, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I was just too intrigued. I'm sorry, I was just too intrigued. I'm like, what is that thing? And then I finally I got close to it, and I caught it in a cup. So I don't know. We'll see.
Nicole's had some really weird encounters with bugs.
She has.
I mean, go back to the media compound last year. So,
Yeah,
that
I
strange
mean-
bug that just dropped right on
Well,
her.
here's
yeah.
the thing. Here's the so
Like,
Kevin Acuff is in the chat. So that happened in Las Vegas, and which is a desert climate. Kevin lives in Las Vegas, so
Yeah.
Kevin can chime in and even give it the things they have out in the desert are just wild. I mean, in
Yeah.
addition to snakes and scorpions and spiders and shit like that, they get some crazy bugs. When we were at the media compound and we were all sitting around this big table outside, and it's crawling on the ceiling, and you were there. We were all there. We're all sitting around the table, and we're like, that thing's gonna fall, and it was above a fan. And I'm talking. I mean, this thing was a little bit smaller than my phone.
Right.
And we're all looking at it. And we're like, that thing's gonna fall, and it's gonna hit the fan, and the fan's gonna throw it, and it's gonna be like Russian roulette. Who's gonna get it? And we're sitting there, and sure as shit, it's right above the fan blade, and it drops, and we're like, oh, here we go, and it hits, and it spins, and it goes, and it lands like right on Nicole's lap, and we're like, oh my god. And she tries to tell people that I ran away. I said no. I was
You
trying.
did.
I was trying to get something to get it off of her. Kevin, I'll donate a $5 if he eats it. I will donate a whole box if I ship it to you and you eat it. So how about that? Let's.
Yeah.
You want to play that game? I'll play right back.
Yeah, Mitch. None of my kids are probably going to take over Cigar Coop. But we actually talked about what would happen if anything happened to me. It's interesting, but I don't think they have the expertise to take it over or the desire. So one of my sons could. He is the guy who works for iHeartRadio, but he doesn't know anything about cigars. So I don't know what would happen. We're looking at options in case I get hit by a car. So.
Well, you always have to have a backup plan.
Yeah.
We have a backup plan, which I mean I won't really air because it doesn't really matter. But you know we have a backup plan. So
Yeah.
you know it's nice to have. I mean, you talk about these brands and these families, and you talk about, well, some of them you're like, well, who's the next generation? Like, who would take over? And most of them, it's pretty obvious that who the succession plan is, right? I mean,
Yeah.
name a major brand. I'll tell you who it is. You probably already know. I mean, it's not hard to figure out. So yeah, I mean, it's nice. You have something that you put a lot into, and something happens to you, someone has to keep it going, or it doesn't, which is a shame. But you try to avoid that. So,
Yeah.
it is something you have to think about. It's like preparing for death in general. Like what happens, to everything else.
Yeah, I've had to make some. I went through some stuff with my father, and there's things I learned now that things have to be taken care of. So I don't want to get too gruesomely into that, but
No.
yeah, but right now there's none of my kids would take it over, just so you know. But I don't think doesn't mean they won't inherit it either. So, so how they dispose of it. I think they know I don't want it shut down either. So I think they they'll figure. I trust they'll do the right thing.
Saka so Mitchell made a comment here. Sorry, I had a burp there. Mitchell says Saka keeps talking about how he has got so much work he needs a Padawan. That's another one too. I mean, because he has a son, right? Is his son involved in the business?
Yeah, one of them is, right. One isn't, and one is.
I thought one was
partially,
like partially, yeah.
And the other one's not, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a good. That's again, I don't know the answer. I mean, I know, like for example, Jose Blanco's son, Jose Manuel, is they're kind of grooming him. EPC that Lizette, Ernesto's daughter, and now Ernie Jr. has actually been coming back into the fold. So I think we're starting to see a little bit of that. And by the way, this is a great example. Ernesto Perez Carrillo the third, EPC3 they call him, or Ernie. He stepped away from the business for a few years, just because he wanted to do something else. Now he's coming back, right? But no one made a big deal when that happened, by the way. Just kind of, there were no conspiracy theories or anything like that. He just walked away to do something else at the time. I think he was doing investment banking or something. I don't remember what it was. But he just wanted to do something else. So I kind of go back to this Liana thing. To me, it's like, again, it's their business what people want to do there. I'm not going to make more of it or anything like that. Just sometimes choices are made. And EPC3 took, went and did his thing for a while. He thought he had to do.
And now, another brand I'll throw out there. I don't think that he's. Look, it's the thing. Anyone can go at any time, right? But in the general sense, you look at it, on the plus side, look at Padron. I think George Padron's he's not very old. I mean, he's still I don't know exactly how old he is, but he still seems like he's somewhat in the middle age, right? He's young enough. But he has sons, I believe. I think they were at the trade show too. I don't know if they're involved or not, but I'm assuming.
I think they're young. I think they're younger. I think they're like college age or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is there are other Padron family members who have an ownership of that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's and I don't quite know the structure of that, to be honest with you, but that's a true family-run company as well.
Oh, very, very tight-knit company. I don't think they have a lot of non-family members that work for them. I think there's some, but I don't think there's like a lot of them.
Oh, I mean, there's Jessica and Jeff Padron I've seen around. Those are probably Rudy Padron. So there's a few other Padrons that have been involved, but they tend to just keep that very close too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their choice.
Anyway, interesting conversation. Because it's something that's true, and it doesn't need to be talked about a lot, but it's an interesting conversation. Like, what happens? God forbid, things change. But those were the two big things that I really wanted to talk about tonight on the show. I mean, they were, obviously the LFD NFT thing has been huge. The Liana Fuente news was a big one. It was a very big surprise to a lot of people. Those are my two big things. But Coop, I'm sure you have your own list of things you. Coop's always got beef, right? So what's the beef this week?
Did you?
Here we go.
I got shit from Abe last week, right?
Okay.
And first of all, I want to say I love the company, I love the cigars, and I love the people behind this company. But Illusione, right? We were at the trade show, And were you at the Illusione booth at all this year?
Yes.
Okay. What did you see at the Illusione booth this year?
Like something specific in particular?
Was there anything that, like, wow, what was the number? Like, was there one thing at the Illusione that said, wow, this is the big thing they're doing this year?
Not really. I mean, I think they had everything on display. I think the biggest thing was they were kind of going through like a repackaging.
Mm-hmm. Did you know that they just shipped a whole new line called Allegria?
Yes.
Did you see that at the trade show?
I don't recall.
Did they talk about it at the trade show?
I don't recall.
I don't know how you go to the trade show and not show and talk about that. And Abe gave me crap on that, and I'm like, look, in my opinion, you missed a golden opportunity to introduce that line. Even if you didn't have the cigars, I get it. You got to talk about that. That's one of the brands that Dion acquired with One-Off. And he's had this Allegria. It's not been a secret. He's had it for 4 years, and people wonder when Allegria is coming. And it's just started shipping right after the trade show. Like I said, it was just I found out about it through someone else, actually, that it was like shipping, right? And I had no idea. I had to redo my whole booth report that I wrote up for this thing, right? Because it changed a lot of things. And it was like, I don't understand. Like, and they did a great job with the repackaging, by the way. But I don't understand how you don't talk about Allegria. And I've heard people defend, that go against me on this. And I'm like, this is the trade show. This is your Super Bowl. This is the number one place to showcase what you're doing. If you're shipping, and I've heard some things, well, maybe the packaging wasn't ready. It's 2 weeks out. It was 2 weeks it was shipped after that. The packaging had to be close to ready. Or, it had to be something in there. I thought there was a missed opportunity completely with Illusione on that. And it's not so much, again, they have the right to do what they want to do. But then I hear people like getting up, they start like Abe's all over me, like, well, they don't have to do that. Like, no, they don't have to do that. But it's you had this opportunity when you're launching a new brand. You don't just come out with a new line and hope it captures on like gangbusters, right? It takes a while to build a brand in your line. It takes a few years. Don't let JSK fool you, okay? It takes a long time to build your brands. I look at Crux Cigars. It's taken them a long time to get these brands into some of the stores they've been getting into it now. This is like 7-8 years. It takes a while. And what better place to springboard it than at the trade show? That's just my opinion on that.
And I know Crux is one of those brands too that it's a good brand. I like them. We got Sam Ventura coming on the show in a couple of weeks, I think. But they're one. I asked a couple of retailers, hey, Crux is a nice brand. You guys should bring that in. And I remember multiple retailers telling me like, yeah, we're actually kind of interested now. We looked at them before, and their packaging, we weren't really a fan of their packaging. We didn't like the way that it was presented. We found maybe it might be confusing on the store shelves. But they went to whole repackaging. They got nice packaging now. More people are more interested. So, it's a good example. That's another brand that's, hey, they made some changes, to get the brand out there better, make the retailers, more, interested in it. And, because it's not just about is the cigar good. It's like, well, how does it display in the store? And, they've gone through their own things, and they've made some nice progress. So yeah, that's true. That's definitely it's a big part of the conversation. It's the whole package.
Yeah.
I know that there's a couple brands out there that were new this year, and I don't want to mention any names because I don't want anyone to feel like it was an attack on them because I don't think it's on them. They didn't do anything wrong, but there was some new brands at the show this year that I heard a lot of people saying like, "Oh wow, their cigars are really good. They're going to be a big brand." And then other people were hearing that and being like, "Oh, well, that's not really how it works," and this and that, and there was some shit talking going on there. But I mean, that's a separate discussion. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah. Another thing I noticed with this is a trend I noticed, and it dovetails to the whole Crux conversation. So Crux has been at the trade show every year since 2014, and they have given back a cigar to the PCA trade show every year since 2016. They were one of the early adopters of the PCA trade show exclusives. You look at Gerard and Neil over at Jake Wyatt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Big supporters of the trade show. What I noticed this year is, maybe the last 2 years I noticed it, is that these retailers who are I call them PCA old guard, who've been at this trade show and supported the organization for a while, they really started giving a look to these smaller companies that was supporting the trade show, and they're bringing them in. And I'm noticing that more and more. And if anything, that's maybe something companies who, if they're on the fence about going to the trade show, they should look at, like companies like what Crux and Jake Wyatt are the two that come to mind, what they're doing, because there is some significant buying power. I mean, these are some of the bigger retailers, Old Guard, and I think they're looking at this and they're giving these guys a shot before the people who aren't coming to the trade show. And I think that's a benefit, certainly.
I agree, and I think you hear a lot of people saying like, "Oh, well, the big four are not at the show." Do you feel like smaller brands are getting more attention now because you don't have, the big four there and this and
Right.
that? And John and I talked about this a little bit last week. I think that it's kind of yes. I think that there's brands that are getting some more attention. I think that the big four brands, they do bring in more traffic to the trade show.
Absolutely. And look, they're missed. I ain't gonna lie to you.
missed.
They're total. You don't have Monte Cristo. You don't have Davidoff. You don't have Liga Privada. Macanudo. I mean, these are iconic brands that are missed. There's no doubt they're missed.
100%.
I mean, but the trade show has to still go on. So
That's true.
you can't. Yeah, I've heard people say, "Well, the trade show doesn't ever." They did a good job this year. I mean, for sure.
So I mean, maybe on the plus side, I think that I want them back. I think that they should be there. I think it would be nice to see them there. But I think that in their absence, I think some of these smaller brands, there's maybe some more opportunity for them.
I think it's going to be a little bit of a negotiation to get them back now. I don't think they're going to come running back to the trade show. I think I think it's going to be interesting because the PC had a good trade show. I think they're going to play a little harder ball with it. I don't think they're going to, I hopefully everyone negotiates in good faith, but I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be as easy as I'm hearing 1 to 2. Well, let's be clear. One company was back at the trade show this year. STG was back. I don't care what anyone says. They were back at the trade show this year. They were very small scale with Matt Booth stuff, but they were back. So
Justin Andrews was there.
Justin Andrews, Chris Tarr was there.
Yep.
They had product that was not Bruce Room 101 product.
Sancho Panza, Los Taros Deluxe.
They weren't taking orders, but neither was Michael Herklotz at Ferry Ortega last year, and he was everyone said he wasn't at the trade show.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as I'm concerned, I have on Cigar Coop, as far as my coverage goes, one company has come back to the trade show already, and if they come back next year, we'll see. But I'm on the record. That's how I'm positioning it. They were back. It was just in a very limited fashion.
Matt Ty, the longer they stay away, the tougher to get them back. I mean, there's some truth to that. The longer they stay away, they stop spending that expense. They have other avenues. They do other things.
They do other things, yeah.
They're going to be like, well, I mean, but they'll look at it, 5 years now. Well, the last 5 years we haven't been there, and our business is better than ever. Why do we need to go?
Yeah.
That's going to be their argument.
The big story going into next year's trade show is going to be the big four coming back. I mean, we're going to see if those other three companies come back and if STG comes back and goes bigger. So I think that's going to be, that's going to be the big thing leading into next year's trade show. And we'll know something, I think, probably by January on that. I think there'll be a decision made. I don't think you'll see everyone come running back, though, but we'll see.
Personally, I feel like one name on the list that I think you can rule out indefinitely, I think it's Davidoff.
I think they're the least likely, and they pulled out of Intertabac, too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the trade show model is for them. I think it's simple as that. I mean, we've interviewed Dylan, the president of Davidoff in the Americas, and I don't think the trade show model works for what they're doing, which is more of an appointed merchant model. I think they tried at the last trade show in 2019. They created that whole Davidoff experience, which they did a great job at. They really didn't highlight products. They highlighted more the experience. But in the end, I don't think it was profitable for them to do that. So I think ultimately that's why they didn't come back.
When you talk about ultra premium brands, Davidoff obviously comes to mind. Big company, but in compared to the others, I mean, they're a very much more upscale brand. You think Davidoff, the white label, Oro Blanco, Royal Release. I mean, even the regular stuff. I mean, those are some higher price point products that they have. And you're right. You talk about the appointed merchant. And I used to be in the jewelry business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things I learned in that business, which a lot of businesses have, and it's the same in the cigar business, especially with watch manufacturers, right? But all the like the higher end jewelry brands, it's kind of like the same way, like the designer brands. But like look at Rolex for example, right? So like I've dealt with Rolex. Um, it's the same thing. It's almost like the appointed merchant. Like they're very. It's not about like let's get everyone to carry Rolex because it's Rolex. It's like no, like if we're gonna be in your store, like it's on our terms. Like we want you have to carry this much stuff. Like
Yeah.
you have to kind of earn that. There can't be another Rolex dealer within so many miles. So like even if you have another top tier, watch dealer, in the same, whatever it is, like they maybe they have like multiple locations and they already carry Rolex, but if someone already has Rolex and they open up a new store, well, you can't have it because he already has it over here. So it's like it's kind of like this. Maybe it's not as exclusive, but I understand like it's the basics of the mindset of like it's an appointed merchant. You're going to be a white label carrier. You're going to be a white label distributor, and that's it's not just like we're opening up to everyone. It's I think I understand it. Like I know around here, I think we only have one white label distributor, and that's two guys. And I think I know Kurt carries Davidoff, and I think some other stores might have it, but I believe and I like LJ Peretti, I think is a white label distributor. They're a big Davidoff customer, but again, I think it's certain retailers they have that bragging right. I don't think anyone can just carry it, and I think that
some buy indirectly too from like. They can buy from other retailers.
Or not true too, but they buy from retailers who are appointed white label distributors.
Right, they can do that. Yeah, they can do that.
And that's my point. Like it's the way that they open their accounts is different than I think a lot of people do.
Yep.
So yeah, it will be interesting to see how that unfolds. Now, STG Altadis. I think that like you said, you're calling it STG was back this year. Maybe it was a good test run for them. Maybe it was a good way to feel out the waters and be like, hey, like
Trojan horse, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Drew Estate. I've had some conversations with some of the guys at Drew Estate this year. I'm not going to say who and what was said, but I will tell you that the tone of that conversation was at that time. Was we have no interest in going to the trade show. We have no. Did we just lose Coop again? That's on him. That's all on Coop. I had nothing to do with that at that time. He just bounced out on his own. And he texted me. Hang on. Okay. Coop had something come up. I'm all alone now. Since he's not here, we can talk about Gabe Kapler. As far as that goes. Come on, Coop. You're hanging me out to dry. What's he doing? I'm not sure where he went. I'm not sure where he went. Maybe he went to go. I don't know. I don't really know what he would. Last time it was a few weeks ago. We had a show, and Coop was a half hour late. I was already here, ready to go. My cigar was already lit. I mean, people were waiting. People, hey, where's the show? And I kept calling Coop, like, where are you? Where are you? We're supposed to be on. We're late. Lo and behold, Coop was in the little boy's room, and he didn't have his phone. And he came running back, and we started the show really late. So I don't know. Maybe he had to make a run. I don't know. Let's take guesses. Where do we think Coop went that he had to dramatically leave in the middle of a dialogue, and he had to let me know, like, hey, hang on. Let's see. I don't know. Who wants to take guesses? Let's see. What do we got? Dan Thompson, you're not alone. We are listening. Oh, I know everyone's still listening. They're just listening to me up here by myself. Mitchell says Cooper is in the pooper. That's possible. Nicole says I can see that too. Maybe it was just one of those. It was just one of those runs. He just had to stop what he was doing and go. Alex says bidding on the NFT. I don't think so. I don't think Coop loves the NFT enough to spend that kind of money on it. Time will tell though. I don't think that's likely though. If it was a NFT that hates on Gabe Kapler or Matt LaFleur, yeah, Coop would be all in. Coop would spend $100,000 to own something that publicly shames Gabe Kapler. like Gabe Kapler nudes or something like that. It's like it's an NFT. Oh yeah, so, or is it some kind of blackmail? Yeah, sure. He would remortgage his house to have that because he would want to be able to publicly shame Gabe Kapler. His connection, possibly. His feed was a little choppy. Let's see. Jay Davis. Coop had to kill Colonel Mustard in the parlor with a candlestick. Oh, here he comes. All right, let's find out. All right, Coop. So while you were away, we were trying to figure out where you went. We had
the router was tripped. That's what's happened. So I had to go.
Nicole got it. His connection.
Yeah, it wasn't the connection. It was the router actually, which was better.
We had that you ran to the bathroom. We had that you were bidding on the NFT. Jay Davis said Coop had to go kill Colonel Mustard in the parlor with.
Well, there was a little bio break, but no, it was the router was happening. So I had to
Wait, so you're telling me that in addition you said, well, I might as well seize the opportunity to go take a leak.
Yeah.
What a dick.
But no, the router was it was the router it took it. Yeah, so it was like I lost the internet the other night on the show, but I just saw the router connection go, and I was like, and I hear oops, I hear this big oops. I'm like, oh, you're still on? I'm like, yeah. So that's why you see my screen probably a little grainy right now too. Can of expired Diet Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not far-fetched. Coop loves his Diet Coke. Nicole's, I win.
I still have some here, so.
Oh, there you go.
Right here.
Non-caffeinated Diet Coke, too, the gold can.
Non-caffeinated, yes. So, yeah, I have to get up tomorrow, so. It's not
Tomorrow's
expired.
Sunday.
It goes.
It's God's day.
Yeah, I have to do a few things tomorrow in the morning, so. But,
right.
You know, it won't be up till like 3 in the morning tonight. That's what I'm saying. Capital of Florida. Boy.
Capital of Florida 2024.
For what? President? It might be an improvement.
Matt Ty. Yeah. Are you talking about for president? Or what do we? I assume so, but he'll have to elaborate on that. You know, I'm gonna make you a T-shirt, and it's gonna say "I love Gabe Kapler," and then
I won't wear it. I'm not gonna wear it. Though.
Wait. ... And then on the back, so when people first see it, they go, "Oh yeah," and then you turn around, and it'll be like, because I like to hate on him, or I love Gabe Kapler ... because I'm his biggest troll. On the back, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be like, oh, but then you turn around and it's like, oh, it's the hate. So that way you kind of trick people into thinking you do like him, but the message is there. You know, I have your Impeach Manfred shirt. I wear that.
Yeah, it's a great shirt. Boy, he's a disaster, but yeah, it's
what were we talking about, Coop? Because you ruined this. So
we were talking about. I apologize. Again, it was out of my control. But
don't
we were
worry
talking about Davidoff coming back to the trade show and stuff. And then you got the Drew Estate. You just started talking about Drew Estate when I got disconnected.
Oh yeah, no. So I mean, I had some conversations with some folks at Drew Estate, and I'm not going to say like the specifics, but the tone that I got from that conversation was that we have no interest in coming back. Now, I think it's one of the things with Drew Estate, though, that sets them apart, and we've talked about this before. They've done a really good job of rolling out their new products with, like, the Freestyle Live. They have their Barn Smoker events. They have some other stuff that they do. And I think they're looking at it from a standpoint of, like, well, you know, I mean, I know it's not the only thing. There's some other things involved with Drew Estate, especially. But I think part of it is to, like, you know, why are we spending the money to go to the trade show? We invest our money into all these other events that we can connect with consumers and we can roll out products and stuff like that without having to, you know, go to Vegas, fly everyone out there, have the giant booth. Now, one could say, well, then don't bring the entire team and don't have such a big booth.
But then again, when I tell you need to display products a certain way, you need to have the bigger booths and more extravagant booths at times. I mean, maybe you go do Perdomo. They do a beautiful job with their booths. But, yeah, you have that medium. But, yeah, you could – and then if you have less people, you know, does that work? You know, Nicole was just at the Connecticut Barn Smoker, right? I know you were telling me that.
She was.
And again, she probably saw how they're doing the whole product and, you know, the engagement model and the activation stations. I think that's what they're looking to do. I think that's the channel they're looking to go down. And instead of putting everything into the retail channel, look at some of these other channels like the consumer engagement channel and go down that road. And I think they are down that road a little already. And if they go back to, it doesn't mean they're not going to go back to the trade show, but it's going to change some things. And that change, you know, now, remember they used to do the press release takeovers, the GE takeovers,
Hmm.
where you get like 10 press releases in a row.
Yeah.
They changed it this year, and now they're kind of going to this hey, we're gonna announce a cigar on this date, and oh, by the way, we'll ship you the cigar ahead of time in this Freestyle Live kit where you get some swag, and they've created excitement around the last 3 releases with this. There's no question about it. Underground 10, the 20 Acre Farm, and the Nica Rustio Adobe. So, I mean, it's obviously something that's working for them.
Yeah, we had Willie Herrera from Drew Estate on this week. You know, a lot of people, Drew Estate fans, Willie Herrera. Herrera's the lead.
Yeah.
He's worked on Ligo Privada, Master Blender. And Nicole was on that show and talked about the Barn Smoker and the experience that she had. So she did Barn Smoker, I did Florida. And I wanted to go. I got my dates mixed up. I was supposed to go. I got my dates mixed up, and then I was like, shit. So she's like, it's okay. I'll do Barn Smoker, and I'll go. So we Smoke and Tobacco still had someone there, and she took a lot of photos and got some content there. We're going to share that later as we get through that. But, yeah, I mean, the overall was like, yeah, this is a really cool event, and she would go again. And
yeah, I'm going to Kentucky in September.
Yeah, I don't think I'll make it to that one. I really want to, but I don't think I'll make it to that. But I'm definitely interested in that one as well. But you're right. It's a nice way to get really engaged with the consumer. They learn something, and like Willie was saying, he goes, not everyone can come down and do a cigar safari down in Nicaragua. So it's nice to kind of give them like a little sampling of what going down to a farm is like, and they can learn something too about the tobacco and like things that are aged and the processes and things like that. I think it's a very well executed concept, and then they have multiple locations, so it's like the same quote unquote event, but each location it's a completely different experience because you're looking at different things, different processes. It's a different area. Kentucky Barn Smoker, you got the Kentucky Fire Cured. You go up to Connecticut, you're looking at the broadleaf and the H99 tobaccos. You go down to Florida, you see the Florida sun-grown stuff. There's one in Pennsylvania. And is there another one?
They used to have Louisiana. They didn't do Louisiana this year.
Okay.
Because I think they're doing that Dallas, which is not really a barn smoker. They're doing more the party in Dallas.
The DE25?
Yeah, kind of a smaller scale party than they originally had planned.
Because the barn smokers, the pre-party at the barn smokers was like a DE25 thing too.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Each of the barn smokers has a DE25 pre-party. I didn't go to when I was in Orlando. I didn't go to the pre-party. I am going to the pre-party in Kentucky. Yeah,
Nicole went to the pre-party in Connecticut. They had the DE25 samplers, the boxes. So she got those and the cigars for that. Then the next day she goes to Barn Smoker and she got all the cigars from that too. So I mean, yeah, it's a pretty cool experience. I mean, there's a lot involved in that.
No, it definitely is. It's a cool. I mean, like I've gone to most of them for the past few years, so I've seen this thing evolve. And if you saw a little bit, Matt, at the Great Smoke with some of the activation stations they had there with the games. They make it interactive. They make it fun. And they had more of that at the bar. I'm sure Nicole told you or is gonna has stuff to talk about with that. It was really cool to see that that concept. And always I've never gone to anyone but Orlando because that's the easiest one for me to get to. But it's Jeff's there too, and Jeff just loves what he's doing on the farm there, and that makes it even better. So and everyone gets involved with it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Nicole had a great time. She talked about the activation stations and the games and stuff like that, and that was kind of cool. The food was a hit too. Not the food.
They do good. They do a good job with the food. Yeah.
So Nicole used to live out in Western Massachusetts, near the Connecticut border, and so there's a barbecue place in Connecticut that she used to go to all the time, and they did the catering. So she was like,
wow.
She's like, I know this place. It's gonna be good. So she goes there. She ate at Barn Smoker, and then on her way back, she stopped at the location and brought back a bunch of food. So like she had a great time. It was a great experience. She drove out there. She spent the night. The only thing is she didn't I don't think she didn't realize, but she got there and she was like all dressed up for the day, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to change because she texted me. She's like, so I wore a dress. She's like, I'm gonna have to change because I need to put on sneakers and something more comfortable for walking around in the field all day. And I was like, yeah, it's probably a good idea. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, Pro Cigars the same way is what I'll tell you.
Other than that, she had a great time.
But here's the little thing I'll tell you. When you go to the factories down in the other countries, typically they don't like you wearing shorts and cutoffs or things like that. They kind of like to have you dressed comfortable but presentable. I've been told that, don't go in like you just came off the street kind of a look. That's just something I've been told. You obviously don't have to wear a suit and tie or a dress, but
that
comfortable.
And she just reminded me too that, and there was a giant dust bowl there too, so that didn't help either.
That's what's really cool about the Connecticut River Valley. And I'm sure you guys have been there more than me, but the farms are like literally you walk a couple blocks and you're in the town. Like it's the as opposed to where Jeff's farm is, it's in the middle of like nowhere in Central Florida.
No, I mean it's still pretty secluded.
We went to a couple with General, and they were literally right off the street, and there was a shopping center a block away.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean Nicole was saying that this was pretty secluded. I haven't been myself actually, but she was there. I thought she was saying like, yeah, no, it was kind of like, by itself.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I mean, but I haven't been to any of them. I was supposed to go last year, then they got canceled again. Then this year I was supposed to go, and I got my dates mixed. I thought it was this weekend for some reason, and so when I decided to go down to Florida, I was like, yeah. And then after I already booked everything, and it was like the beginning of last week or whatever, I was like, oh shit, that's this weekend.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it's okay. I'll go anyway. And I'm like, okay,
Yep.
You sure? She's like, yeah, I'll go. And
Yep.
she went and she did the whole thing, and it was
Yep.
awesome. Yeah, she said it was still 20 minutes from Hartford. So, I mean, it's not too out of the way, but I mean, I don't think it was next to a shopping center, like you were saying.
No, but it was. I'm telling you, it was a couple farms we went, and they weren't in the middle of nowhere. But these were General. They weren't with Drew, so they're probably different farms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the only farm there. So,
Yeah.
no, I mean, it sounds like it was a good time. I know she has some photos. I don't know where they are. She's like, yeah, they're on the computer, but I don't know where they are. So, that was definitely, and I should have thought of that. I should have had her maybe try to come on the show, but she could have talked about that a little bit more. But yeah, no, I mean, that was really cool. And if you didn't see our show with Willie on the Smoke and Tobacco Show this week, go and check that out. That is up everywhere now on podcast platforms and our YouTube channel, so you can check that out. It was kind of a quick show. He had a tight schedule constraint, but we were able to cram it down. And there was so much more I wanted to get into with him, but I was trying to keep it quick, so to speak. Not everyone does 3.5 hour shows, so.
No, I keep getting that reputation. We did, but the Bear is the one that does the 4-hour shows.
Yeah, but you've done a good amount of them too.
We've done not a good amount, but I haven't done. He's done a lot longer. I mean, he did a 5-hour show, by the way.
Who did he do a 5-hour show with?
He had the guys on who used to be with Cigar Federation, and they were doing this pairing show, and I think they did 3 different pairings, so it took 5 hours. So the story, I never forget the story. Bear's show comes on at 10:30 at night, and it's on Sunday night.
Yep.
Yeah. My son Peter, he was moving the next day, right? And we had to get up and pick up a Ryder rental truck at like 4 in the morning. They had an automated way to do it. So I got up at like 3 in the morning, and they're still going at it. They were still on the air at 3 in the morning.
Wow.
It was still live. So it was an amazing thing.
Oh, I found the photos from the Barn Smoker. Here we go. I couldn't find them because they weren't labeled Barn Smoker. They were labeled with the memory card name. All right, so let's see what we got here. So, okay, so I think these were the activation stations. I'll bring this up.
Yep, wrote it down.
There they are.
Yep.
So that's from the
key thing
Connecticut
is
Barn Smoker.
The key thing is never wait online, guys. You never have to wait online for an activation station. So you find the least crowded one and do it that way. Or wait till the crowd clears.
I think she said she made it to all of them except for one, just because by the time she got to it, the line was so long. It was towards the end of the day, and she was like, but she pretty much hit every single booth.
Well, good. Yeah, and you get more cigars at those booths too, by the way. So
yeah, she came home with a lot of stuff. I was like, wow, this is
yeah.
cool.
Then they have the option to buy option, which is really cool. You get it's like $10. You get like really rare Drew Estate stuff.
Now here's a photo she took, and I remember her saying that this was all the H99 tobacco.
Interesting.
Which was kind of
That's
cool
where
to
it
see.
is. That's where it is. Yeah, that's yep. That's weird how it's aging in the barn with the stuff hanging. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. If someone's seen that before, I have not seen it like that before. Usually that stuff is in bales separately, but maybe they were packing it up at that point.
There's another photo she took inside the barn.
It's so cool to watch the tobacco go through that initial aging, or just drying, I should say, curing.
Yeah, in the curing barn. Yeah.
It's really cool.
And again, this is kind of where it goes back to the whole, this is a cool thing for the average consumer to go to, right? I mean, not
right.
Most of them don't get to see this on a regular scale. It's like, you go to the store, you buy the cigars, maybe you do an event, and you get to meet people and hear about it, but you don't really get to go to the farm and see it.
Yes.
Especially the big farms down in like the Dominican, Nicaragua, Honduras. I mean,
right.
Most people don't get to experience that, and it's cool, and it's like you're like, wow, but this is like Willie said, this is a nice little sampling of this is what it's like.
That's
cool.
Exactly how I would say. Yeah, and it's really cool to, like I said, to see that. I don't know if she saw any of the stalk cut tobacco, but that's something you don't see down in Central America a lot of. That's pretty cool to see. Is Bob the cigar? You see that thing? Can you go back to that picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hanging out with Bob the cigar guy at that little station in the front there in Orlando. He was just kind of volunteering and helping them out. And he goes, hey, and I was just tired. I said, it was a cool place to smoke. So he was guarding all this stuff, Bob the cigar guy. He's a cool guy, Bob.
I thought I heard a rumor that at the Florida Barn Smoker, Kevin Shahan actually was helping out at some of the booths too. He was kind of helping out behind the scenes.
I don't know if he was, but I wouldn't be surprised. And this is what's really cool. A lot of the guys, they just will pick it up and help. I've seen it at a lot of these events, and I've seen it at Abe's event. People just come in and they'll help out, which is and they don't ask for anything in return for it. And I believe that probably was the case. Good for them. I know Bob does it, and he just likes doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have fun doing it, why not? This was at the Acid booth.
Yep.
They had a giant sign. Everyone was signing Acid. They had Eli the DJ in the background here.
Yeah, they're on the one in Orlando. There's a rumor-free Caesar-free on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there is.
Yeah, that's how I always sign it. Yeah.
Do you also sign it? I hate Gabe Kapler or?
No.
Come on, don't lie.
No.
Don't sneak it in there like I hate Gabe Kapler.
No, you gotta keep it positive. Come on. I do hate him, but that's not I have other forums to do that with. I'll use my forum to do it.
There was more photos. There was a photo that she showed me. I think it's this one. Kind of shows the whole field.
And
so, yeah.
Here's what's amazing.
No, go ahead.
These are small farms. Because when you go to Placencia's farms or Perdomo, you'll see how massive those farms are, and these look big. That's the funny thing is I'm calling these small. These are still pretty big farms. When you go to Perdomo, Finca Natalie, it's wow.
Oh yeah, I know it's massive.
Massive, yeah.
Here's another one with the curing barns kind of in the background, really up close.
Yeah, those long curing barns, yeah. Which, see, Jeff has less. Jeff only has one or two of them. He has a lot less, because he grows a lot less tobacco. So this is definitely a bigger scale than what you'll see at Jeff's farm.
Right. Yeah.
But Jeff's farm has a real nice intimacy to it too, is what I'll say. It's very intimate, so it's kind of fun to be there.
Is he still doing the I know that he has cattle down on his farm that he eventually slaughters, and he I think he sells the beef, or he does events with it.
He does something with it. Yeah, he does do like other types of farming there besides tobacco.
Yeah, he's got a whole thing down there. He's got
He's
like a
he's
military
a
combine that he drives around.
Yeah, his son's now very active with it. You know, it's I remember one year his son was helping people get out of the mud because it rained so hard. The parking lot's just a dirt field that got muddy.
Yeah, so cool event.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
some of the
No,
photos. There's more
yeah.
photos, but those are kind of the highlights from
Yeah.
Foster Farms. Nicole put it right in there.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, definitely. If folks haven't gotten to a barn smoker, I really encourage everyone to check it out. Even if you're not a cigar enthusiast, you know, my wife didn't come with me to barn smoker this year, but it was not because she didn't want to. We have all of our kids. Like when we go to Florida, it's the time we get everyone together. So she was doing like hosting everyone. So it was kind of tough.
Oh yeah, obviously. I mean, it's
Well, I think
it's hard to hit
really,
everything.
and it's educational. That's what's really good. It's a great. You're gonna learn something out of there. You're gonna have fun. Drew Street makes it fun. You learn something, and you know, like I said, you want to go back, which is. And like I said, I've only been to Orlando, but I've heard all of these have a different flair to it. So.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes them special is that it's you know you can go to all of them, and like you went to all the barn smokers, but it's not like you went to the same party every time. You went to a different place.
Yeah.
It was a different. It's the same concept, but you got something different every time.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really the party guy, but you know, I think it's important to have a party. So I don't, but yeah, Joe, I didn't go to one. There was a little mix-up why I didn't go to the one in Orlando, but I'm going to one in Kentucky.
Yeah, I'll be really excited to see what you thought of that and your experience because, you know, talking to Willie about it a little bit and the process of so you do the whole, the fire cured process. Oh yeah, he's like, oh yeah, you walk the whole thing. So you know, you get to go there and you get to see that.
Yeah, and I've seen it on a small scale. They Drew Estate years ago. When they were first getting into fire cured, showed us a little bit of it. They had a demo set up. This was on the Cigar Safari. This is on a much bigger scale. I've been told that they do this, and I'm really interested in this because you know, and I've been talking. You know, I want to go to Italy to see actually what they do at the Toscana factory at some point.
That would be really cool. Yeah,
I've actually talked to Michael about it. Like, it's just something I would like to fund. I'll fund it myself. It will give us an excuse to go to Italy, but but I think it would be really cool to because it's so different. That's a very when you see fire curing versus the air curing, it's very different. So you know that most of the stuff I see is air cured. I've only seen the fire cured, like I said, once.
Yeah, talking to Willie about it, I to be honest with you, I wasn't exactly sure how it was done, but you know, Willie kind of gave us a nice little.
It's a little smoldering heat they have. Like, I have a video somewhere on the Coop channel that showed it. I filmed it, yeah, but it's a very small scale one, so it's not indicative of like a full scale like they have in the Kentucky and the Tennessee. Some barns actually, some of the fire cured tobacco that's Kentucky is actually grown in Tennessee too. People don't realize that either. Yeah, because it's like that southern Kentucky, northern Tennessee border.
It's also bourbon country.
Yeah,
and whiskey country. It's whiskey country, Tennessee and Kentucky, but.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Louisville is more in that area, which is a little further north. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly a big part of the subculture down there. I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, Willie was talking to us about it too. About you know, they start the big fire outside, and then they kind of bring in the hot smoldering pieces, and they put it in the barn, and then they shut the barn, and they just trap it all in there, and they just let it smolder and smoke out.
That's exactly what they do. Exactly what they do. Yep.
So it's a very cool concept. I mean, maybe you're not into Kentucky fire cured tobacco, but the process is still pretty remarkable.
You know, the brown label of the Pappy Van Winkle, the barrel fermented, is the best fire cured tobacco cigar done. Probably until I had the Toscano Master Age. The Master Age was really good. They knocked it out like that. I actually have some reviews I'm coming up with that. That could be a surprise cigar this year for me. What I said is like that Pappy Van Winkle that Drew does and that Master Age, that's Kentucky fire cured done right. You know, doing chicken right, they do. That's how fire cured's done right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree. The Pappy Van Winkle is a very good one. You know, and it's one of my favorites. Whenever I go to a lounge and it's around and it's out there,
Yeah, I
I
just
always
smoked
try
the
to
pig
grab
of.
one.
I just smoked one of the pigs of those. Actually, it was really good.
I have one of those actually. I
Yeah.
have one. Yeah, I've been meaning to
Yeah.
smoke it too. I gotta light that up.
Good cigar. Yeah, I think I got it from the. You probably got it from the Barn Smoker, right?
No, I've had it for a little while.
Okay, because they gave it out at the Barn Smoker in Florida. That's how I got mine.
Oh, nice. Okay. No, and
Yep.
they handed some of them out at the Barn Smoker, so she did get some of those.
Yep,
And I
yep.
had some others already, but
Yeah.
I had a friend give me the pig one a little
Yep.
while ago. I've
Yep.
had it and I forgot about it, but yeah,
Yep.
no, I mean they are great cigars. The whole experience is cool. I still want to go down and see one of them for myself. But I'm really glad Nicole got to go and have the experience, and it sounds like she had an amazing time. So
Yeah,
just really happy
I'm
about
actually.
that.
Yeah, like I said, there's nothing like being on those farms, especially when you go to Central America. But even like I said, it's just great when you can go to experience it right in your home country. You know, like you don't have to get on a plane and go through customs. It's nice to deal with that. So, and I enjoy saying really they create a whole experience around it. And you know, like I said, they've evolved this thing over the years. But even in the first years they were doing it, it was still a great event. So no one's disappointed coming out of a Barn Smoker.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things, so I look
Yeah.
forward to going in the future. Other than that, I think those were the biggest topics I wanted to cover tonight.
Yeah, it was a good show. We had a lot to catch up.
I feel like there was one other thing. Checking my news really quick. No, I thought there was one more thing, but I think that's it.
Yep.
Well, it was a great show. I mean, we had some ups, we had some downs.
Yep. A little down. Sorry about that. What happened here? But
Coop
we
ran
had
away.
sometimes. Well, no, they recycled the router is the problem. They didn't realize I was doing something tonight because I'm in the studio here and they're upstairs. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, it's fine. I had to run
Yeah.
and trap whatever the hell that thing was because I was.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
we
"What
both
is
had
that?"
it right.
Well,
I'll give you
honestly,
crap, and then
the sound was just annoying because like like the mic probably wouldn't pick it up, but I was just like, what the fuck is that
if you
buzzing?
heard, if I open these doors and you hear it, it's bad. I mean, it's deafening at some point. We hear it at night actually trying to sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was annoying. I was just like, damn,
Yeah.
what the hell is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that was it. That was really everything I wanted to cover. A lot of stuff to cover. LFD, Liana. Obviously, you know, we touched on the trade show again, as we always seem to do. And I got to cover the
biggest
Barn
soap opera.
Smoker. I got to cover the Barn Smoker a little bit. I know Nicole went, but you know, we still covered a little bit. And maybe one of these times I can get
Yeah.
her on here to talk with us more. It'd be nice. I want Nicole to come on to more of these, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
and the Barn Smoker is tough to do. Like interview, we actually did an interview one man from the Barn Smoker with Bear. It was very hard to do it. I'll tell you that. Because you're outside and stuff like that. So it's and it's muddy. So sometimes so.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's tough, you know.
Yeah.
It's hard to do any kind of show outside of your studio. It's
Yeah.
or your interviews in general. You have a lot of, you know, other than the trade show, and even then, sometimes it's tricky. But
Yeah.
other than that, I think that's gonna do it. We
Mm-hmm.
we had a great show tonight. A lot of fun. I went into it with a lot of energy. I had some some Cafe Cubano before the show, and now I'm wearing out. And,
That's why I say Diet Coke. Prefer caffeine free. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Diet Coke, Diet Coke all the
Yep.
way, right?
Yep. Yep. That'll be good.
Anything you want to announce before we wrap up?
We have no primetime shows this week. I have some things I'm traveling and stuff. So we do have a show Monday. We're doing Jukebox 77. We're continuing the Rolling Stone Top 500 list. And then we are getting into a series of back to our regular schedule again the following week. So stay tuned for that.
Absolutely, guys. Don't forget to check out cigar-coop.com. As always, show Coop some love. Don't forget to check out our episode with Willie Herrera from earlier this week. As I said before, it is up everywhere.
And we're finishing up PCA coverage this week of the videos, guys, on Coop. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So,
All of our videos are up and out. I'm just trying to get finished up on the written pieces.
yeah.
It's just, you know, things come up, and then, you know, I've been really busy with the NFT thing, so it kind of sent me back some more, and then I was traveling, so we're trying to wrap those up. But other than that, you know, definitely check that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and everywhere you can find your podcast, whatever platform you listen to them on, you can find us there. And as always, visit smokingtobacco.com for more news and updates from the cigar industry, the LFD NFT, and our PCA 2022 coverage. And with that, we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
Take care.